What's up? Yeah, can you hear me? Okay. Okay, just stay connected here with me. We're fine. You might need to turn. Utah, the campus of Dixie State University. Trailblazer football is back for the 2018 season. Tonight's matchup, Dixie State and Fort Lewis. We're going to break it down. We'll tell you all about the matchup here in just a minute inside the postgame show. But first, let me introduce myself, Carrick Segmiller. Year 4 for me on the broadcast here at Dixie State University, and I cannot be any more excited for this season. It's a new Trailblazer stadium, it's a new Trailblazer team, and it's time for a new season. Again, good evening and welcome inside today's broadcast of Dixie State football on the Trailblazer Football Network. Right now, just on TV and on internet. We will be on Radio Dixie 91.3 FM a little bit later in the pregame show, as soon as this thing is kicked off and underway. We'll have the triple cast TV, radio, and internet. That's CEC TV, TDS Cable Channel 22 for you here locally subscribing to that channel. We are online at the Dixie State Stretch Internet portal. That's portal.stretchinternet.com/Dixie State. And then we will later be live on Radio Dixie 91.3 FM. Dixie State, Fort Lewis set to do battle in an RMAC battle here inside Trailblazer Stadium, and both teams victims of disappointing losses last week, and both teams will want to try to bounce back this week here in St. George. This is the pregame show, and we will break it all down for you. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to have 3 pregame segments inside this show here before things get kicked off and underway. We're going to set up the game for you. We'll take a look back at last year's exciting matchup. We've got some highlights and some audio for you there. We'll give you some keys to the game, some key players. We'll take a look around at the RMAC schedule. We will break it all down for you, so we will be ready to rock and roll at 6 o'clock for the kick between the Trailblazers and the Skyhawks. First thing I want to remind you about tonight, this is the Chartway Classic kickoff. Tonight's home opener, a red out, and will be filled with festivities. We got the tailgate party just to the west of us going on behind us here at Trailblazer Stadium. That will go. It's just wrapping up over there. It's been great. Free food. They're giving out free T-shirts tonight, courtesy of Chartway Federal Credit Union. Remember, kids 18 and under get in free to these games. The adults get in for just $5 tonight. That's almost half off, so there's no excuse to not be here tonight. It's the debut for Dixie State anyway, Dixie State Athletics, of the East Grandstand. They'll be cutting the ribbon. You see it there on your screen. It just is magnificent. It feels like a college football stadium in here. Not that it didn't before, but it really has that feel now. Interstate 15 is just to the east of us. As you're driving by, you cannot miss Trailblazer Stadium now, and it is beautiful. So the Chartway Classic kickoff with tons of festivities, including that ribbon-cutting ceremony at halftime, the free T-shirts, low-priced admission to get into the game tonight. They had the tailgate party after the game tonight. They have free ice cream down on the south field, and they'll also be showing Remember the Titans as well. So stick around after the game for those fun festivities that you can take part in. The Chartway Classic kickoff between Dixie State and Fort Lewis. Both teams 0-1 overall and 0-1 in RMAC play. They are going to want to turn that around tonight. Let's take a look at Dixie State's record in home openers. Today's game marking the first home game of the 2018 season for the Trailblazers. Dixie State 5-7 all time in the NCAA Division II era in home schedule opening games. That's dating back to the 2006 season. The Trailblazers earned a 24-16 triumph over Adams State on September 1st, 2007 for its first home opening win. Dixie State later defeated Western Oregon for a 24-10 victory in the 2012 home opener. In between, then they did defeat Adams State again 37-28 in the 2009 home opener. Dixie State grabbed the 21-14 victory right here on this field over New Mexico Highlands on September 1st, 2016. That was Dixie State's first game as a member of the RMAC. You remember that was the C.J. Luongo halfback pass to DeJuan Dantzler to send Dixie State to that 21-14 victory. And that was the most recent home opening victory to that point until last season. They made it 2 home opening victories in a row with a 38-16 win over Black Hills State. Taking a look back at last week, you can see the schedule on your screen. Dixie State falling 56-14 at CSU Pueblo. We'll take a look at that game just a little bit. Again, we want to remind you we've got some highlights coming up a little bit later from the last year's game between Dixie State and Fort Lewis. We've got some highlights for you for that game, but not quite. We want to take a look at Dixie State's game last week against CSU Pueblo. The Trailblazers had high hopes traveling to number 14th ranked. They're now number 12 ranked CSU Pueblo. High hopes for a win there, but suffered a 56-14 loss at the hands of the Thunderwolves. And get this, the feeling that you had leaving that game was, boy, if we could have just controlled giving up the big plays, we would have been able to have a shot at that game. The Trailblazers conceded 6 scoring plays of 65 yards or more in that opening game last week. Thunderwolves were just getting through the first level, and no one was able to make a stop after that. They'll look to try to not give up the big play today. Dixie State finishing with 253 yards of total offense in that game, 185 yards through the air, 68 yards on the ground. Trent Darms, the sophomore quarterback out of Shasta College, completed 12 of 31 passes for 142 yards and a touchdown in his Dixie State debut. Easton Smith did play a little bit in that game as well. Freshman running back Lawrence Starks rushed for 47 yards and 14 carries to lead the Trailblazers on the ground. C.J. Luongo did not make that trip to CSU Pueblo. He is expected to play tonight, so look to see a heavy dose of CJ tonight. Xavier Smith, junior receiver, led the receiving corps last week with 3 catches for 76 yards and a touchdown. Brad Duran made 5 catches for 47 yards. DeJuan Dantzler had 3 passes for 39 yards in that game as well. Defensively, Dixie State conceded 573 yards of a total offense. Shiloh Pritchard led the defense with 7 tackles and 1 sack to go with a pick 6 in the second quarter. Mike Jones, Jalen Moore, and Abraham Reinhardt also added 5 tackles each in that game. How about Fort Lewis? You take a look back at their game last week, and they fall 45-31 in their game last week. And it was a game that went back and forth. Fort Lewis actually scored first. It was an impressive 99-yard scoring drive. They went down and Jake Lowry ran his first touchdown of the season into the end zone from just a couple yards out, and Fort Lewis had a 7-0 lead and seemingly controlled the game. But wow, New Mexico Highlands, a very explosive offense this season, turned things around using a big second quarter and then holding off a late run by Fort Lewis to collect the 45-31 victory. In that game, Jake Lowry led the offense both passing and on the ground, completing 23 of 46 passes for 324 yards and 2 touchdowns. He added 136 yards on the ground on 14 attempts and for 2 more touchdowns. Braden Lucero, running back, had 23 carries for 90 yards. Tajon Mondi Smith was the main recipient through the air. He hauled in 5 passes for 165 yards and both touchdowns. You'll also want to look for Mason Hatton. He caught 7 passes for 68 yards. Defensively, Donnell Pleasant III led the Skyhawks with 8 tackles, including a half tackle for loss. Dre Cortez had 7 stops along with an interception and 2 passes broken up. Christopher Blanton had 2 tackles, and Nathan Aguilar recorded a sack defensively for Fort Lewis. So Dixie State, Fort Lewis getting set to do battle in what really should be a very, very competitive game tonight here at Trailblazer Stadium. It's about 100 degrees here in St. George. I was just down on the field level before I came back up here. I've got a little bit of air flowing up here for the AC, but down on the field it is hot, around 100 degrees or more down on the field. How about a quick look at the series history between Dixie State and Fort Lewis? It's been an interesting one. As you take a look at the all-time series, I would venture to say that this has been a series of a tale of 2 halves. This game marking the 4th meeting between Fort Lewis and Dixie State on the gridiron. The teams first met in the Dixie Rotary Bowl here in St. George on December 2nd, 2006. Fort Lewis won that game 24-14, but Dixie State led 14-3 at halftime, so a big second half more than 10 years ago, more than about 12 years ago for Fort Lewis in the first game between these two teams for a 24-14 victory. Fast forward 10 years later to 2016, last game of the season. Dixie State clinching its first winning season in the D2 era with a 16-14 thriller here in St. George, although they led that game 16-0, and that was just through the first quarter. Fort Lewis came roaring back to pull within 2 points. A 2-point conversion failed. They could not tie the game, and Dixie State eventually held on for the 2-point victory. And then the script basically flipped in Durango, and the matchup between the first matchup between the two teams in Durango, Fort Lewis taking a 13-0 lead, and then Dixie State scoring 23 unanswered points to close last season off with a win to finish at 5-6 overall and 5-5 in our MAC play. It was an exciting game, and to try to get you pumped up and ready for this game, we've got some highlights and some sounds from last year's matchup between Dixie State and Fort Lewis that ended in a 23-13 victory for the Trailblazers. Let's take a look at those now, and then we'll go to a 2-minute break and come back more with the pregame show here in the Trailblazer Football Network.
There is a place where looking out means looking in, where an impression lasting only a few seconds will be imprinted on a life forever, where courage is forged and innocence rediscovered, where remembering is rewarding and forgetting unforgettable. There is a place where truth is felt and where seeing is believing. There is a place.
Where do you find the titans of classical music in St. George? Classical music on Radio St. George, 100.3 FM. Where do you find the legends of jazz? Evenings on Radio St. George, 100.3 FM.
Hey Dixie State fans, this is Carrick Sagmiller
and Drayson Ball.
We're here to tell you about Trailblazer Weekly, our new show airing every Wednesday at 3 p.m. beginning on August 29th on CEC TV, the Dixie State Athletics YouTube page, and on Radio Dixie 91.3 FM.
On Trailblazer Weekly, we'll bring you in-depth interviews with Dixie State coaches, administrators, and student athletes. We'll also keep you up to date with all the latest Trailblazer athletics news and game analysis.
Don't miss a second of the action. If it's anything Dixie State athletics, it's on Trailblazer Weekly every Wednesday at 3 p.m. beginning on August 29th on CEC TV, the Dixie State Athletics YouTube page, and on Radio Dixie 91.3 FM. Welcome back to Trailblazer Stadium. 2018 home opener for the Dixie State football team, hosting the Skyhawks of Fort Lewis College from Durango, Colorado. Carrick Segmiller with you, flying solo tonight. My Kohler man, Drayson Ball, on the road. Thought he wanted to go watch the Atlanta Braves play in Phoenix instead of hopping on the air tonight. Shame on him, but he'll be joining me throughout the year the rest of the way to be part of the broadcasts. And if that name sounds familiar to you, yes, it's because Drayson is my co-host on Trailblazer Weekly. Before we get back into the pregame, just want to tell you a little bit about the Trailblazer Weekly show. If you're wondering, every Wednesday at 3 p.m., we have Trailblazer Weekly on CEC TV, on the Dixie State Athletics YouTube page, and on Radio Dixie 91.3 FM. Basically, we break down the last week in Trailblazer Athletics. If there's any department news, we've got it for you on the show. We interview coaches, student athletes, you name it. If it's Dixie State Athletics, we have got it on Trailblazer Weekly. So mark it down on your calendar, set a reminder on your phone. Every Wednesday at 3 p.m. On CEC TV, on the Dixie State Athletics YouTube page, and on Radio Dixie 91.3 FM, you can tune in and catch those. Follow us on Twitter at DSU Blazer Weekly. That's at DSU Blazer Weekly for all the updates on the show. And for updates on this game throughout the night, be sure to follow the Dixie State Athletics Twitter feed at Dixie Athletics for all the updates. It is the Chartway Classic kickoff tonight for the 2018 home opener. If you're driving around in your car, make sure you come on down to the stadium. Free T-shirts they're giving out courtesy of Chartway Federal Credit Union. Nice red Dixie State shirts for the first 2,000 fans to be here tonight. Plenty of festivities. We'll also cut the ribbon for the East Side Grandstand at halftime, and then some post-game festivities as well. Screening of Remember the Titans down on the east, the lower field, and you can get free ice cream. So who doesn't want free ice cream? As you see on your screen, the Trailblazers getting set to come out onto the field here momentarily. I may have to just duck out of the booth after the game to go get me some free ice cream and then come back up here and wrap things up for the post-game show. But no, this is the pregame show. Let's take a look at some keys to the game and then also some key players to the game tonight as well as this thing gets set to go. These are the keys of the game for Dixie State. 3 keys. First one, locked on Lowry. Quarterback Jake Lowry had a field day last week in the 45-31 loss to New Mexico Highlands. Lowry coming in at 5'11", 175 pounds. The redshirt sophomore out of Littleton, Colorado, and Columbine High School. He went off last week, passing for 324 yards with 23 completions and 2 touchdowns. But look out. He's got a good arm, but he's even better with his legs and on the ground. So he's one of those that you got to respect the arm, but you can't let him run either because he will run all over you. Last week, 136 yards on the ground and 2 more touchdowns. So he accounted for 4 touchdowns last week. The Trailblazers tonight have got to stay locked on Lowry. Second key, limit big plays. We mentioned it in the first segment. Dixie State conceded 6 scoring plays of 65 yards or more. That included a blocked field goal return, 68 yards the other way. It included a 71-yard touchdown run, 2 80-yard touchdown runs in the third quarter. So that's something they're looking to turn the page on, say tonight we have to limit the big plays. And I might add, even create some big plays of your own, and that leads into the third and final key for tonight, win the turnover battle. Dixie State did win the turnover battle last week. Believe it or not, a ton of turnovers in last week's game. 9 total turnovers in the game between Dixie State and CSU Pueblo. Dixie turned the ball over 4 times. CSU Pueblo turned the ball over 5 times. And Dixie +1 in the turnover margin at this point in time. So they'll look to win the turnover battle. If you look at Dixie State historically, when they win the turnover battle, things look bright for the Trailblazers. When the Dixie State forces a turnover, they are much more likely to win the ball game. And that's, you can say that for everybody. It's kind of a Captain Obvious thing, but you've got to force turnovers, create some big plays, get momentum, Uncle Mo on your side if you want opportunities to win those ball games. How about key players for Fort Lewis? We mentioned him already, Jake Lowry, the quarterback. It all starts with him, but a couple of other key players for Fort Lewis. We talked about them last segment as well. Braden Lucero, the running back, will get things done. He had a great week last week, almost going for 100 yards. Look on the outside for the receivers, Tajon Mondi Smith, and then another name you'll hear a lot is Mason Hatton. Hatton had a lot of catches last year against Dixie State, and they'll go to him again. The tight end, Sam Kohlberg, is also effective in that pass game as well. Defensively for Fort Lewis, you're going to hear these names a lot. Donnell Pleasant III, kind of a linebacker safety hybrid. You will hear Drake Cortez dropping back playing safety. You hear that name a lot. Up front, you hear Christopher Blanton's name on the defensive line as well. For Dixie State, it all starts offensively. Trent Darms getting the start at quarterback, but C.J. Luongo is back at running back tonight, and look for him to have a big effect on this offense. Split out wide, your receivers. Still no Casey Allison tonight, but DeJuan Dantzler, very talented. Xavier Smith, the junior transfer out of Kansas City, Missouri. Look for him to make some plays tonight. And Devin Osborne, the 6'7" sophomore, look for him to make some plays as well. Giovanni Sanders is a name in the receiving corps, the freshman out of Marietta, California, that you're going to hear his name a lot as well this season. Defensively, a lot back. Remington Kelly up front, Beta Galetta, Sebastian DiMartini, Wes Moyai, the St. George native. You hear their names a lot. Trayvon Watson, Mike Jones, and Jalen Moore in the secondary. You'll hear those names a lot as well. Tell you what, let's do this. We want to take a look back at last week's matchup between Dixie State and Fort Lewis. It was a great matchup between these two teams, and it ended up in a 23-13 win for Dixie State. Let's run that now as Dixie State gets set to take the field. Highlights from last year's game between these two teams. After the break back in the truck, we can go right ahead to a 2-minute break as soon as the highlights are over. Let's roll them. McNamee, play action, fires across the middle, makes the catch, and he may go for a score. Open to the 50 is going to be maybe chased down. Can Tynell Cooper get to him? He does, forces him out of bounds. Field goal attempt coming for Ben Raybon. Snap is up, kick is up, and it is good. Snap to McNamee, fires inside, slant route is complete, and that's Mason Hatton. McNamee will roll out to his left, pulls the ball down, fires, ball is tipped and caught, and was he out of the end zone? No, they say he got the foot down. Touchdown, Fort Lewis. McNamee in the shotgun, will hand off to P.J. Hall. Hall has a big hole across the 45 and down near the 50. Ben Raybon will have a shot to make it a 13-0 game. Snap, the kick is deflected at the line of scrimmage, and it still finds its way through the uprights. Wallace is in motion. They fake this sweep to him. Barney fires to Josiah Blandon, who makes the catch into the end zone. Touchdown, Trailblazers. High snap gets past the punter, and he's just going to have to fall on it. High snap, Blake's got it. Read option, making his way to the left. He'll score. 4-yard touchdown run for Blake Barney. 3 receivers to the near side. He gives to Sajay. Sajay makes his way around the left end, and he turns the corner to the 50, and he's forced out of bounds at the 45-yard line. And off to Sajay, no read option. Blake's got it. He keeps it, cuts it back inside, makes the defender miss. He's going to score. Blake Barney from 20 yards out. Here's the snap, the hold. The kick is a low one, end over end kick, and it splits the uprights. A.J. Jurgensen. Trailblazers win it to finish the 2017 season with a win, 23-13.
At Kneaders, we start simple, making bread from scratch with just a handful of ingredients. It's not the easy way, but it's worth it. Honest bread made without shortcuts. When you come to Kneaders, every loaf of bread, every sandwich, starts here. Yes, it takes more time, but that's why we get an early start. Stop by today for dine-in, takeout, or drive-through.
I take the road less traveled, run free, unwind, unravel someplace outside with lots to do. Green trees, red rocks, and don't forget that blue sky. The sunshine shining, sunshine pouring on me. Think I might just stay a while. Say hooray all day because the sun is gonna shine on me. Sun is gonna shine on me. Sun's gonna shine on me.
I'm Jimmy. This is my definition of fresh since 1983.
There is a place where rocks bleed and nature blushes on a battlefield green with envy, where dimples determine destiny and a tiny wooden tee holds the outcome in the balance. There is a place where friends are opponents and opponents are friends, where the prize is elusive, the conquest is captivating, and the score isn't settled till the drinks are down. There is a place.
Welcome back to Trailblazer Stadium. National anthem in the books. We are just minutes away from football inside Trailblazer Stadium. Dixie State of Fort Lewis getting set to do battle in an RMAC battle. Both teams 0-1 coming into tonight's game. One team will leave with a win. The other will return home tonight with an 0-2 record and left to try to figure things out the rest of the way. The journey to turn the season around begins now as we get set for the coin toss. We'll let you know who wins that coin toss. A great crowd on hand here at Trailblazer Stadium. The Stampede student section is on hand. They have filled their section to capacity. The community members filling the seats in as well. A pretty good contingent over on the new east side. It's kind of sunny to sit in there here at the 6 o'clock start, but by halftime the sun will dip down behind the press box here on the west side, and it will be all good over there on the east side as well. Dixie State, Fort Lewis getting set to do battle inside Trailblazer Stadium. While we've got a minute, let's remind you of the RMAC schedule tonight. A couple of games in the books already. South Dakota Mines with a 38-21 win over Western State. We'll recap these at halftime as well. In fact, you know what? Why don't we let you listen in to the coin toss?
Fort Lewis, you've won the ball. Toss, receive. Which way do you want to kick, Dixie? Okay, go and switch sides. Fort Lewis has won the toss and will receive in this direction. Gentlemen, shake hands.
So there you go. I did not know we were going to, I knew we had the ref audio tonight. I did not know he was going to get on the mic and deliver the message for us. But there you hear it from a referee tonight, Jeff Reed. Our referees tonight, Jeff Reed, Craig Mitchell, Scott Taylor, Joel Bingham, Jonathan Braun, Dave Wallace, and Aaron Olivares on the referee crew tonight. Fort Lewis winning the toss. They elect to receive. Dixie State will be kicking off to the north. That will be right to left across your screen. And we are back. It's the full triple cast. We are on radio, we are on TV, and we are on the World Wide Web. Dixie State of football coming at you. Let's give you those RMAC scores that we were talking about across the conference. South Dakota Mines, their offense has looked really good. They gave a nationally ranked Colorado Mesa team a run for its money last week just falling by 3. They defeat Western State today 38-21. And how about this? New Mexico Highlands puts up 65 points. That is the Trailblazers' Week 3 opponent. We'll have them here next week in St. George. 65-37 blowout win for the Cowboys over Adams State. Colorado School Mines, the Ore Diggers, with a 42-20 win over Black Hills State. We've got our game here, Dixie State and Fort Lewis. Chadron State traveling to Pueblo to take on Colorado State Pueblo. That will be a dandy of a game. The Eagles and Thunderwolves look really good so far this season. That game kicks at 6. And then Colorado Mesa heading to Eastern New Mexico of the Lone Star Conference for a non-conference game at 7 p.m. tonight. That is your RMAC score and schedule. We'll keep you updated on those throughout the night. We'll give you some starting lineups brought to you tonight by Lonnie Boy's Barbecue. As we get set and underway, we'll give you the Dixie State defensive starters and the Fort Lewis offensive starters when they're on the field. Defensively for Dixie State, across the front, they go Remington Kelly, Sebastian DiMartini, Beta Galetta, Wes Moyai. At linebacker, Alex Lilliard, Shiloh Pritchard, Abraham Reinhart. Your safeties are Mike Jones and Trayvon Watson, and on the corners, Jalen Moore and Darren Jones. Here we go. Let's play football here at Trailblazer Stadium. Turn up the crowd mic for the radio side. A.J. Jurgensen, St. George native out of Desert Hills High School, will get set to put a foot into this one for the Trailblazers. Back deep to receive for Fort Lewis. Number 23, Javante Norman, 5'10", 165-pound junior. Set to do the receiving honors. Dixie State, Fort Lewis, 15 minutes on the clock. Pregame show in the books. Now the important part, let's play football. Carrick Sagamore with you at Trailblazer Stadium. Jurgensen puts the right foot into this one, end over end kick into the end zone. Norman will take it 5 yards deep. He's going to bring it out to the 5, the 10, cutting back outside of the 15. He's hit and met, driven backwards at the 15-yard line. Probably should have kept that one in the end zone, but he opts to bring it out, and good defending by the Trailblazers. Fort Lewis will start at its own 15-yard line. And how about offensively, the starters for this Fort Lewis squad? It all starts with quarterback Jake Lowry under center. Your tailback is Braden Lucero. Across the front, Joseph Townsell, Brandon Reed, Josh Howell, Jeffrey Brinkley, and Kyle Mudick. Your receivers are Aurelius Hughes, tight end Sam Kohlberg, other receiver Mason Hatton, and Tajon Mondi Smith. And here we go, Fort Lewis, 2 receivers to the near side. Lucero at the right hip of Lowry in the shotgun. On first down, flags fly. The forward play can even get underway.
What? 10. 5-yard penalty.
The back
First down.
When the 2 went in motion. This is exactly what I talked about.
They're going to say delay of game as the play clock had hit 0.
14:54.
Why do I speak to you before the game? Why?
Referee asking 14:54 to be on the game clock. Oh, now we've got trouble. It's reading 1:45. Now they may have to stop things. First down play goes to Lucero, and he is stopped. And they get the time right. Lucero. Short gain of 1 yard. It'll be second down and 9. Second down and 14 after the 5-yard delay of game penalty. Lucero tried to go off tackle to the right. He was forced back inside. Remington Kelly wrapping his arms around him, making the tackle. Second down and 14 for the Skyhawks. Pistol formation. They give to Lucero again, and he's met, driven back in the backfield. What a play by Dixie State. Sebastian DiMartini, the first one to get to him. Anthony Yarbrough was in on the tackle as well. DiMartini blew that play up. Reinhardt in there as well. What a play by the Dixie State defense. Braden Lucero going nowhere. 2 runs for Lucero. And nowhere for him to go on that play. Here we go, 3rd down and 16. Lowry in the shotgun, slips. He escapes the tackle, cuts back inside, still on his feet, and he's met and driven to the ground across the 15, diving near the 18-yard line. Pretty good pickup for Lowry, considering it looked like he was going down. But Jalen Moore able to come up and stop him. About 8 yards shy of the first down marker. And Fort Lewis forced to punt on its first drive of the game. The punter, Max Peets, 6-foot junior, out onto the field. He had an extraordinary week. Last week punting the ball, averaging over 50 yards a punt. Back deep to receive for the Trailblazers as Peets just gets this one away. Fair catch called for and made at the Dixie State 41-yard line by Aaron Simpson. And that is where Dixie State will start over for the first time today offensively. The Trailblazers start on its own 41-yard line. Starters for Dixie State offensively. As you see, the sophomore quarterback jogging out to lead the troops, Trent Darms. We'll give you a little bit more about him and what he did at Shasta College in a minute. Sage Lamongo is your tailback. Across the front, Brandon Turner, Tevye Toluta'u, Dane Hall, Nathan Aceves, and Chris Grasso. On first down, they give to Sage. Off tackle to the right, he goes nowhere, no gain. Will be second down and 10. Your receivers are Devin Osborne, DeJuan Dantzler, and your tight end is Cody Hobbs. So off tackle for Sage to the right side, and he's met and driven back by Isaiah Mayberry. They'll hurry back up to the line, second down and 10. Two receivers to the left, Arms looking to throw, fires far side, complete to Cody Hobbs, the tight end, and he is knocked out of bounds by Mayberry. Well, Mayberry's been on both tackles for Fort Lewis. It'll bring up second down, and we'll call it 5 yards, third down and 5, excuse me. This first drive for the Trailblazers. Third down and 5, ball at the Dixie State 46-yard line. Can the Trailblazers get a first down on the first possession of the game? Darms, time to throw, now pressure comes. Evades the defender, loads up, fires as he throws, and it's incomplete. It's not a live ball. He was able to get it out, but pressure came, and Darms has to just get rid of it. Incomplete pass. Dixie State will pass. Will punt as well. Had plenty of time, but good coverage downfield. Darms just able to get out of the outstretched arms of Joshua Queller, only to be brought down by Darian Stickney as he was getting rid of the ball. 11:57 to play here in the first quarter. Dixie State, Fort Lewis scoreless. Both defenses looking really good here at this point. Josh Carlson, the new Dixie State punter, puts a foot into this one, angling to the right side, and it will go out of bounds. Where are they going to mark this thing? Across the 20 and down at the 15-yard line, to the same spot that Fort Lewis started their first drive. Josh Carlson had a big-time punt last week, setting a new Dixie State record in the third quarter at CSU Pueblo. 81-yard punt for Carlson, as he was able to eclipse the previous mark of 78 yards set by Nate Lewis against Humboldt State in 2007. Fort Lewis back out on offense. Drop play up the middle, flag flies, and that was not Lucero. That is TJ Telfy. We'll call it a gain of 2 for the time being. Flag right near the line of scrimmage. We'll wait for Jeff Reed, our official, to make the call. Anytime you see that right where the play went through, you can't think of anything but maybe a hold.
There is no foul on the play.
And they're going to wave it off. No foul on the play. So 2-yard pickup for Fort Lewis. It'll be second down and 8 across the 15 to the 17-yard line. Fort Lewis waiting for the next play to be called again. That's TJ Telfy out at the right hip of Jake Lowry, the quarterback. Shotgun snap, Lowry, pressure comes. He's going down. What? Wes Moyai. A Red Lion sack for the Trailblazers. Moyai able to break through on that right end, and Lowry had no time. Moyai, the junior out of St. George, Utah, the local kid. Played at Pineview High School. And after a couple of years, made his way back to St. George. And Dixie, pressure comes. Lowry has to get rid of it. Telfy makes the catch, but he is brought down by Abraham Reinhardt at the 5-yard line. And this Dixie State defense is amped up, not giving up anything tonight. And Lowry feels the pressure. Moyai coming off that right end again, and Reinhardt there to bring Telfy down as soon as he makes the catch at the 5-yard line. Max Peets will jog back out onto the field for another punt. And these are the punts that make your palms a little bit sweaty when you're the punter. Aaron Simpson waiting at midfield. Peets the punt out of his own end zone, and it's blocked. Ball pops straight up, comes down to the 10, takes a Fort Lewis bounce. It's recovered at the 20, and he's tackled across the 20 down to the 15-yard line. And that's Elijah Isaiah coming up with it for the Trailblazers. We'll have to take a look at the replay to see if we can see who maybe got a hand on that ball. May have been Malaki. The number was blocked just a little bit. See if we can maybe run that one more time. But Dixie State blocks the punt, recovers it down to the 15, and the Trailblazers in business. Would love to see that block one more time on the TV side if we could. Here comes once more. The number comes, well, that's the pass to Telfy. We'll get it here in just a minute. Darms brings the offense onto the field. End around, Luongo across the 10, 5. Can he get there? He can. He stopped at the 2-yard line. C.J. Luongo, 13-yard run down to the 2-yard line. The Trailblazers in business in the red zone. The Fabulous Freddy's first down as Dixie State looking to get on the board first. The Trailblazers humming defensively and now on offense here. Trips to the far side. They give to Luongo again, and he's stopped. Nowhere to go. It'll be no gain. Second down and goal from the 2 for the Trailblazers. It'll be fitting for CJ to get a score early, as he had to miss the game last week. Dinged up a little bit during fall camp. Cameron Maryberry in on the tackle for Fort Lewis. DeJuan Dantzler split out to the left, 2 receivers to the far side. Dantzler in motion now. They'll give it back to CJ, and he's stopped again. He's going to lose yardage. Loses a yard. Third down and goal from the 3. They sent Dantzler in motion, faked the jet sweep around the right end, gave it to Luongo. They fooled nobody, especially Cameron Isaiah Mayberry. He's in on a tackle again. The Dixie State 3rd and goal. They're going to mark them back to the 4. You think after blocking the punt, you've got to score here. Cannot just settle for a field goal. Darms with Luongo motioning out to the left. Will drop back. Quarterback keeper. He's in for the score. Designed quarterback keeper all the way. 4-yard touchdown run for Trent Darms. His first touchdown in a Dixie State uniform. Beautiful. Designed quarterback keeper. Nearly untouched into the end zone. 4-yard scamper. The Trailblazers will capitalize on the block punt. We talked about creating big plays, winning the turnover battle, and Dixie State with a 6-0 lead, 8:34 to go here in the first quarter. High snap, Duran pulls it down. Jurgensen kicks it up, and it's through. 8:34 to go here at Trailblazer Stadium. Dixie State a 7-0 lead here in the first quarter in the 2018 home opener. 60-second timeout and back on the Trailblazer Football Network.
So I just moved in with his family, and it's embarrassing. The little one, he likes to go outside and crawl around in the giant litter box. I don't know what he's doing. I mean, I was born and I knew how to use the litter box. Look at that. That's disgusting. Oh, poop already. You're making me nervous. Oh, okay, I can't look at this anymore. I really hope he grows out of this, for his sake.
Hi, good morning. Welcome to our set here of Talking Point Live. We're just getting ready to shoot our show, but we thought we'd put out a little bit of a promotion so you know when this is going to be rebroadcast.
Right. You can find us at 9:30,
12:30,
4:30.
Sorry, did I step on you? I'm always stepping on
You are.
Tune in and watch me step on Jen Moore. On Talking
Or
Point Live.
attempt to, anyway.
Dixie State, as we welcome you back, capitalizing on the block punt. You see the block punt there. A.J. Jurgensen will put a foot into this one. Devontae Norman fielding the kickoff at the goal line. He's across the 10, across the 15, down to about the 17-yard line. And that is where Fort Lewis will start. But you see Trent Darms making the 4-yard touchdown scamper. Dixie State a 7-0 lead. Boy, this is the start you wanted if you're Dixie State. Did not maybe move the ball you wanted to on your first offensive possession, but the defense has looked fantastic. On both times they've been on the field, you've forced a turnover, and you've capitalized on it. Now a 7-0 lead for the Trailblazers, 8:28 to play. Lowry will hand off to Telfy, feeling his way off to the left side, and he's stuffed, goes nowhere. Remington Kelly in on the tackle, among others. Remington Kelly also has some help from Lysini Sewell, another St. George native, transferring back down to Dixie State after a year or two away. Second down and 11 for Fort Lewis from its own 16-yard line. Skyhawks with 3 receivers split out to the near side, including Tejan Mondi. Lowry will load up, fire, open receiver, far side, he dropped it. Wide open was Elijah Huff on the far sideline. Kind of slipped and fell to his knees, still had an opportunity to make the catch, but he dropped it. That would have gone for the first Skyhawk first down of the day, but Huff could not quite haul it in. Third down and 11 for the Skyhawks. We'll get you some Neaters stats here in just a moment. 5 receivers, 3 to the near side, 2 to the far side, empty backfield, shotgun snap to Lowry on third down and 11. Lowry, pressure comes, forced out to his right. Remington Kelly looks like he was held, fires the pass to Devontae Norman, just out of his outstretched hands and incomplete. Boy, Remington Kelly turning to the official on his way back. You can see it here on your screen, and he is held. You saw a big hold on Remington Kelly, may have even got the face mask. No flag thrown. Luckily for Dixie State, did not affect the play as Javonte Norman, could not haul it in. And that pass falls to the turf. 3 drives, 3 punts for Max Peets as he punts from the 2-yard line this time. Aaron Simpson standing back at his own 43-yard line. The punt nearly blocked again. Short punt, high, will fall to 45, takes a Dixie State bounce back to the 50, and is touched and down right at midfield. Quick look at some stats brought to you by Neaters. Dixie State so far never mind, we'll get to those in just a moment. My apologies. Didn't quite have those ready for you. Get them for you in just a moment. Dixie State jogging back out onto the field. 7:28 to go in the first. A 7-0 lead over Fort Lewis College, live on TV, radio, and internet. Darms, play action on first down, looking, fires across the middle, tipped and incomplete, pass intended for DeJuan Dantzler. And the pass broken up by Sule Takamayatu. Takamayatu able to get a hand in there. He had the tight end, Darms did, wide open, about 5 yards downfield. kind of already had his mind up where he wanted to go. Second down snap. Read option. He'll leave it with Say-J. Say-J starts outside, cuts back inside, and he will drive the legs forward for a 2-yard pickup on the far hash. It'll be 3rd down and 8 for the Trailblazers. Darms left that one in there as long as he could. Pulled it back out. Just nowhere to go for Say-J. Clock rolling, 6:50 to go. Trips to the near side. Say-J motions out to the right side. He'll become a receiver. Darms drops back, fakes. Deep downfield. Connor Miller there makes the grab at the 25 and is down across the 20. Where do they mark him? And he's across the 20 down to the 18-yard line. Big time pass, and Connor Miller, he's got blood on the arm. You can see it there. I don't know if they'll make him come off and get cleaned up. In basketball, you'd have to. But Connor Miller, another one of those junior college transfers that's made a big, big impact for Dixie State already. Goes up high and gets the pass right on the money from Trent Darms. First down snap to Darms, looking, has time, fires across the middle through the arms of Xavier Smith. A little too much juice on it, but Xavier able to get the hands on it but couldn't quite snare it. Incomplete. In on coverage. Takamayatu again. And Sule Takamayatu. I hope I'm saying that right. I'm just going off of the pronunciation guide provided by Fort Lewis. 2nd down and 10. They'll leave it for Lawrence Starks, the freshman. He'll get his first carry of the game, and it's a good one. Across the 15. Down to the 12-yard line. Pickup of 6 yards for Starks on 2nd down. 3rd down and 4 into the red zone. Dixie State, one more first down. If they can get the 4 yards here, don't have to go for the end zone. Devin Osborne, the 6'7" target, is in on the far side. Look for maybe a fade to him. Empty backfield. Shotgun snap to Darms. 2-step drop. Has time. Fires across the middle looking for Osborne. Osborne was kind of making a move to the outside. And Darms misses him. Throws behind him. 4th down and 4 from the 12. Dixie State will have to settle for the field goal. If he throws that ball outside, as you see that there on your screen, Osborne kind of making that motion back to Darms. If he throws that back outside, Osborne makes the catch in stride and maybe is long enough. He can turn, take a couple of steps, and stretch the ball out and get in the end zone. As it is, 29-yard field goal left hash for Jurgensen. The kick is up, and it is good. Jurgi, good from 29 yards out. Dixie State gets points. It's a 10-0 lead for the Trailblazers. 5:24 to go. Let's take the 60-second timeout and come right back on the Trailblazer Football Network. Welcome back to Trailblazer Stadium. Dixie State points on its last 2 drives. 5:24 to go in the first. Dixie State a 10-0 lead. 7-play, 38-yard drive for the Trailblazers. High kick. Fair catch going to be called for and taken on the kickoff at the 5-yard line by Javante Norman. New rule this year.
Fair catch. caught within the 25-yard line by the returner. The ball will be placed at 25-yard line by rule.
As you see, our referee, Jeff Reed, explained the new rule before I could. New to college football this season, you can call for the fair catch, and anywhere you are, you're lined up at the 25. Norman has tried to bring the last couple of kickoffs out and has been unsuccessful. This time, probably by coach's orders, takes the fair catch. Braden Lucero back into the game for Fort Lewis at tailback. He's at the left hip of Jake Lowry on first down. Mondi Smith and Hatton split out to the right side for the Skyhawks. Handoff to Lucero. He breaks through the line for the first time today. He'll pick up 3 yards. Biggest pickup of the day. As he was able to break through there. Alex Lilliard, linebacker, coming up, making that stop. As well as Lysini Sewell. Second down. We're going to go read option. Lowry keeps it, fakes a defender out, and picks up the first down of the game for Fort Lewis. Dixie State had a defender right there as Lowry was going to the outside, but a quick juke will send Cialo'i to his seat. And Lowry picks up the first down. Pickup of 12 yards for the quarterback. V.E. Cialo'i was in pursuit and had a beat on Lowry. Just couldn't quite keep up with him. Clock rolling at 4:30 to go. First down of the game for the Skyhawks. Lowry loading up, firing deep downfield, has a man, and the catch is made by Mason Hatton across the 50, down near the 40, across the 42 to the 35-yard line. Big pickup for Fort Lewis. And Hatton was wide open. Mike Jones comes over to help make the stop right at the end. But a perfect pass from Jake Lowry. And now this Fort Lewis offense is humming. On first down, read option. Lowry's going to keep it. And he'll go for a 1-yard pickup, second down and 9 as he goes straight up the field. Clock rolling, 3:50 and counting. Abraham Reinhardt in on the stop. 25-yard pass from Lowry to Hatton on the previous play. If you're just tuning in, we appreciate you making us part of your day. Lowry will flip it out to Norman on the near side. Gets a block. Ball comes loose. It's on the ground, and Hatton dives on it for Fort Lewis. Fumbles this year brought to you by Jimmy John's Freaky Fast Fumbles. That ball poked out of Norman's hands. Dixie State nearly picks it up. And Mason Hatton able to dive on. Third down and 15, Dixie State. Trying to force a stop here. Big third down, late in the first quarter, 2:50 to go. Lowry has time, pocket closes, ball stripped out of his hands, it's loose, and I think Dixie State's got it. Dixie State has recovered the fumble. I think Anthony Yarbrough, judging by his reaction, is the one that got in there and stripped the ball. Wes Moiai with the Jimmy John's fumble recovery. We'll get a look at it here. Lowry loading up for the throw, stripped out of his hands, and it is Anthony Yarbrough forcing the fumble, and Wes Moiai coming up with the recovery. Dixie State in business. First down and 10 from its own 43-yard line, second turnover of the game. Darms, slant route inside, complete to Brad Duran. It'll go for a 6-yard pickup down to the 49-yard line. It'll be second down and 4 for Dixie State at its own 49, and we're going hurry up. Two receivers split out to either side. Darms will take the, Sage Takes a handoff from Darms, breaks through the first level, across the 50, down to the 36-yard line of Fort Lewis. A good pickup for C.J. Luongo as he goes from the 49 down to the 36-yard line. And he will pick up 15 yards on the play. They go hurry up again. They'll leave it with C.J. And he goes nowhere, loses 2 yards. Clock rolling, 2:02 to go in the first. 10-0 Dixie State lead. Trailblazers in Skyhawk territory. C.J. will jog off the field. Lawrence Starks in at tailback. Darms loses his towel. We'll just flip it out of the way. Referee will pick it up and hold it for him. Trips to the near side. Snap to Darms. Pump fake. Pressure coming. Brought down as he throws. Dantzler can't make the catch. Pressure came from the far side, the blind side, and Darms just didn't see it coming. I thought maybe he was going to get hit before he threw, but he's hit at the feet as he threw. Takes a shot. Christopher Blanton getting in there and helping disrupt that pass. 3rd down and 11 coming up for the Trailblazers. So far on the day, Darms 3 for 11, 41 yards through the air. 3rd down and 11. Shotgun snap to Darms. Looking, loads up, going for the end zone. And it's a touchdown pass. No, he dropped it. Devin Osborne looked like he had made the catch in the end zone, but the pass is broken up by Cam Theory. He's that 6'7" target. Gets it, and then it's knocked out of his hands by Cam Theory. And you're kind of in no man's land for Dixie State. Ball sitting at the 37-yard line. So it would be a 54-yard field goal from this point. So Dixie State going to keep the offense on the field at 4th down and 11. And now a flag and a fly.
Delay of game. 11, offense. 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
Dixie State going to take the delay of game penalty and then bring Josh Carlson of the punting unit back out onto the field. Take a quick look at some Neater's stats for you. As this punt getting set. 41 yards of total offense for Dixie State. 13 yards. That's passing yards. I don't know how to read my screen. And now a whistle and another delay of game penalty.
Number 39, offense. 5-yard penalty, still 4th down.
Dixie State trying to get itself some room to punt. That's good. Gives us time for some Neater's stats. I've now learned how to read my screen and know what I'm looking at. 78 yards of total offense for Dixie State. 28 yards of total offense for the Skyhawks. Give you a couple more numbers here in just a minute. Carlson, end over end kick, is going to go 5 yards deep into the end zone. It'll be a touchback out to the 20 for Fort Lewis. So needed to take 1 or 2 more delay of game penalties. Carlson's just got a big foot. And he's just a freshman, and this kid is going to be phenomenal for Dixie State. Let's break down those stats even further for you. 3 first downs for Dixie State, 2 for Fort Lewis. 37 yards on the ground for Dixie State against 15 for Fort Lewis. Dixie State, 41 yards through the air, 13 yards through the air for Fort Lewis. 2 turnovers for Fort Lewis and none for Dixie State. So the Trailblazers winning that turnover battle. 1:23 to go. And a great crowd on hand on first down. Lucero dives up the middle. He'll pick up 3 yards. It'll be 2nd down and 7. As I look out from the booth, nearly filled the capacity here on the west side with fans making their way over to the east side as well. Will we see perhaps a record crowd here? Jake Lowry running to the left, is able to slip out of a couple Dixie State tackles and picks up the first down. Read option. He slips out of the grasp of Shiloh Pritchard, the linebacker, also able to get past Remington Kelly. And Lowry goes for a first down. Under 40 seconds to play here. Some confusion as the Dixie State defense gets set up. Now they're set. Lowry claps his hands, takes the snap. Pump fake, loads up, lofts it downfield. Receiver there, catch is made. Down across the 30 to the 28-yard line. And that may end the first quarter. The clock will stop momentarily. But a big pickup of 35 yards for Fort Lewis. Clock rolling at 10 seconds. Lowry gives to Lucero, and he's brought down. Nothing going for Lucero, although he does get through. And he'll pick up about 4 yards on the play, and that will end the first quarter. It's been all Dixie State.
That's the end of the first quarter.
But Fort Lewis is starting to warm up, knocking on the door of the red zone after 15 minutes of football. Dixie State 10, Fort Lewis nothing. We take a 60-second timeout and come right back on the Trailblazer Football Network.
I take the road less traveled, run free, unwind, unravel someplace outside with lots to do. Green trees, red rocks, and don't forget that blue sky. The sunshine shining, sunshine pouring on me. Think I might just stay a while. Say hooray all day because the sun is gonna shine on me. Sun is gonna shine on me. Sun's gonna shine on me.
I'm Jimmy. This is my definition of fresh since 1983.
"15 minutes up on the second quarter clock. We will have some first quarter stats for you in just a minute. Lowry on second down will go read option. He's right near the marker, and they're going to mark him 1 yard shy. Needed 4 yards, picked up 3 on the run. Third down and 1 from the Dixie State, we'll call it the 18-yard line. Big third down here. In the first quarter, Dixie State goes for 78 yards of total offense. How about this? Fort Lewis outgaining the Trailblazers at the end of the first quarter, 86-78 after those touchdown passes since our last check of the stats. On third down and 1, Telfy hit at the sticks, and that's right at the marker. Boy, that's close. Fourth down. No gain. Fourth down and 1. And it looks like the field goal unit is going to jog out onto the field. Wow, big stand there by the Dixie State defense. It looked like there was a miscommunication in the backfield between Jake Lowry and TJ Telfy. Telfy almost looked like he went to the wrong side, so it took him a minute for that exchange. This will be a 35-yard field goal for Hogan Kiesler. The snap, the kick is low, and he got it to go. Boy, oh boy, that looked like that was either going to hit the crossbar or fall short, but it sneaks through. We're going to keep it right here. Just had the timeout, 13:26 to go here in the second quarter. Dixie State a 10-3 lead. I don't know if we have another look at that field goal, but that one just crept over the crossbar. as Kiesler able to sneak it in from 35 yards. Dixie State a 10-3 lead. Let's take a look around some other Dixie State sports. Trailblazers soccer team falling 3-1 today with Texas A&M International. Trailblazers finish up their Salt Lake City trip with a 1-1 record after a win over Notre Dame de Namur, former Pac-West foe, on Thursday. Women's volleyball wrapping up a 2-game trip to South Dakota. A 3-set sweep over South Dakota Mines last night. How about this? A 2-0 lead for the Trailblazers after 2 sets. Check that. 25-23 win for Dixie State in the first set at Black Hill State. They lead it 25-24 in set 2. Yellow Jackets fighting hard against this tough Dixie State team. Kiesler gets set to put a foot into this one for Fort Lewis. That field goal capping a 7-play, 62-yard drive. Kiesler end-over-end kick to be fielded by Aaron Simpson at the 5, across the 10, angling to the middle of the field, across the 20 to the 25, and that's where Dixie State will start at the 26-yard line. Dixie State leading it 10-3 with 13:21 to go here in quarter number 2. Take a quick look at what's ahead for Dixie State after this game. This is a 3-game homestand for the Trailblazers. And we'll have 2 more home games after this one. Darms on first down swings it out to Xavier Smith. Makes the catch for 4 yards to the 29-yard line. 13:15 to go in the second. So next week, Dixie State will host New Mexico Highlands. A week after that, South Dakota Mines will make the trip. Here at Trailblazer Stadium, and that will wrap up the 3-game homestand. Darms, quarterback keeper, dives forward for 2 yards to the 31-yard line, and it'll be 3rd down and 4. It looked like Darms had the option to hand off to Xavier Smith in motion. Kind of held on to it for a moment, then decided to go, picks up 2 yards. Clock rolling, 12:30 to go. For Dixie State, you want to move the chains at least a time or 2 on this drive. Fort Lewis starting to figure some things out offensively. Trips to the near side, empty on the far side. Darms, shotgun snap. Has plenty of time, fires across the middle, and it's incomplete. Cody Hobbs looked like he was hit before the ball got to him. Of course, that's right at the line of scrimmage. I don't know if maybe the bang-bang plays, we see the look at the replay. Ethan Williams in on coverage. Coach McClure felt like he was hit before the ball got there. Either way, it'll end up as a punt for Josh Carlson. Mason Hatton standing at his own 30 to field this one. Carlson will have freedom to just boom this one. Gets it away, pressure was coming. Hatton backs up, makes the catch at the 28, gets a block, and then taken down on the far side. Whistles after the play. Be some extracurriculars going on. Tackle made by Lionel Nasivi on the punt. Referees getting together. I don't see any flags down on the field. Referees are having a discussion. No, there is a flag near the 50-yard line. 12:04 to go in the second quarter. Dixie State a 10-3 lead. Jeff Reed, our referee, gets ready to tell us what's going on.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 47, 15-yard penalty, first down.
And that penalty will go against Fort Lewis. And that's Darian Stickney, 6'2" junior linebacker. Called for unnecessary roughness. I did not see where that occurred, but somewhere near the 50-yard line. And that will back Fort Lewis up inside its own 20 down to the 18-yard line. And that is now where the Skyhawks will take over on a first down. Lowry bobbles it, will lob it up. Jalen Moore there in coverage, and the catch is not made, but a flag flies. Going to be pass interference against Jalen Moore. Tajon Mondi Smith, the intended receiver.
15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Jalen Moore in on coverage. We get another look at it. Yeah. Right toward the end, he may get a little too much there on the left arm of Mondi Smith, because Moore and Tajon Mondi Smith are kind of slapping at each other all the way down, and then perhaps Jalen Moore turned it into more of a one-sided affair. Right toward the end. Ball moved out to the 33. And out to TJ Telfin. He goes nowhere. Dixie State has this run game solved. He'll lose a yard. Second down and 11 from the 32. Lysene Sewell on the tackle. Second down and 11 from the 32-yard line. 11:25 to go in the second. Low snap. Lowry picks it off the ground. The ball comes picked off. Shiloh Pritchard, his second pick of the year. 35-30. And he's rumbles to the 25-yard line and is brought down by Sam Colberg, the tight end. Lowry picked up the low snap, felt pressure coming, had to get rid of it, floated it across the middle. And Shiloh Pritchard with the Intermountain Healthcare interception, his second interception in as many weeks, had a pick six last week. Third turnover of the game for this Dixie State defense. Shiloh Pritchard missed all of last year with injury, and he has been big for this Dixie State defense so far this season. First down and 10 for the Trailblazers at the Skyhawk 26-yard line. Snap to Darms. Delayed handoff to Sejay, and he's met in the backfield. He goes nowhere. Mayberry and Takameatu in on the tackle for Fort Lewis. Clock rolling, 10:55 to go until halftime. Again, flying solo today. We'll be joined by Dixie State alum and my co-host on our Trailblazer Weekly show, Drayson Ball, the remainder of the season. Sejay, end around to the right side, had room, looked like he might have run into his own guy. He'll pick up about 6 yards on the play. Fort Lewis, Christopher Blanton's going to have to leave the game. His helmet popped off. He'll have to leave the game for one play. It'll be third down and 7 from the Skyhawk 23-yard line. You really like to capitalize on that turnover. Third down and 7 from the 23. Darms with two receivers to the far side. Now a man in motion is Brad Duran. Fake the sweep to him. Holding. Hit as he throws across the middle. And he was looking for the screen pass to Sejay Luongo. Luongo was hit by the Fort Lewis defender. He didn't like it at the end of the play, so Sejay had some words for him. That was Donnell Pleasant III. It was kind of a dangerous hit because that was a helmet-to-helmet hit. If you ask me, that should be targeting. I know the play's over, but Donnell Pleasant III should almost be out of the game for that hit. He went down and he hit Sejay Luongo right in the helmet. And he ducked his head on purpose. There's no room for that. I don't like that one bit. This is going to be a 40-yard field goal right hash for A.J. Jurgensen. This would match a career high for Jurgi. The snap, the kick, and it's no good. Short and wide to the left. Dixie State, after the interception, comes up empty. 10-10 to go, clock stopped. And Fort Lewis going to get the ball back. We're going to take another look at that play overthrown, and the play's over. And Donnell Pleasant III again lowers the helmet. There's no reason for that. Sage has some words for him. The referee's right there. If you ask me, that should be a flag all day long. There's no room for that, especially for one of their team's key player. I just don't like it. But water under the bridge at this point, I suppose. Fort Lewis will jog back out onto the field. Lowry with Braden Lucero behind him. Pistol formation. He'll load up, fires across the middle, has Tajon Monty Smith. Incomplete, just out of the outstretched arms across the 50 to the 45-yard line, but incomplete. Jalen Moore and Mike Jones in coverage downfield.
Defending for the Trailblazers, number 21, Jalen Moore. Pass is incomplete.
Get a good look at Donnell Pleasant III there on the far side. Big shout out to our CEC TV crew. Dave Harris is down in the van today. Lauren Golden, Marcus Farnsworth, James Farnsworth. Don't know all the students' names, right? Name them all by name as well. Lucero on second down will pick up 4 yards. It'll be 3rd down and 6 at the 27-yard line. For those of you watching, Dixie State fans and Fort Lewis fans alike, as you see Lucero on that run. And now a Fort Lewis player slow getting up.
Game clock operator, please set the game clock to 9 minutes, 51 seconds.
And that's Marcelino Carrillo. Down near the 20-yard line.
Thank you.
As you see right there, may have a Dixie State defender land on that left leg. We won't speculate as to what is wrong with it. That does not look like it feels good while the trainers attend to him. I want to continue to let you know, for all of you watching, and we're so lucky here at Dixie State to have CEC TV. I named Dave and Lauren and Marcus and James. I don't know all the students' names that we have, or I would give them credit here on the air. This is a very, probably what you're seeing right now is between 90 and 95% student produced. We've got Dave helping direct back in the studio. We got students running, or back in the truck. We've got students running replay, students on cameras. These are the kind of opportunities that you get here at Dixie State University. On-hand experience, hands-on experience with cameras, behind the scenes, you name it. Good to see Carrillo up walking off under his own power. But our students do a heck of a job here at Dixie State University helping produce these broadcasts. And what we like to think is some of the best live game video production in all of Division II. Better than some of Division I as well. We are definitely lucky to have the good folks at CEC TV
All right, fans, let's get loud.
on
3rd down. Jump around.
our side. Here we go, 3rd down and 6. Carrillo up off the field, and he was off under his own power, so that is good. I don't care what color the jersey is. You never want to see anybody hurt. 3rd down and 6 coming. Play clock at 14. Flags fly and a false start.
False start. 73. Offense. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
It's Joseph Townsell. You're going to see him kind of flinch just a little bit as you had kind of step back there. Couldn't hold his balance. Dixie State doing some different things on the defensive line. And Townsell, the left tackle, couldn't keep his balance. 9:25 to go in the second. Crucial 3rd down play. A lot more in the playbook for 3rd down and 6 than for 3rd down and 11. Option play out to the right side. Lucero, Reinhardt in the area. And the tackle is made. Nowhere to go for Braden Lucero. Abraham Reinhardt was there. Trayvon Watson was there coming up from the safety position as well. You see Reinhardt coming to your picture, and then Watson from the safety position as well. And the stop is made With 8:50 to go in the second. Boy, Dixie State defensive coordinator Willie Mack Garza, he loves to bring those safeties up. He loves to blitz.
I got you, Aaron.
And it's showing there. Aaron Simpson back to field this Max Peets punt. Peets gets it away. A good kick. Simpson backs up to his own 34. Fields the punt, feeling his way around the right end across the 40. Spins back to the 45, still on his feet. And he's tackled from behind. Flag down at the Dixie State 42-yard line. So a lot of running. Fort Lewis was asking for a flag early in that return. It did not come, and then it came later.
During the return, block in the back on the return team, number 24. 10-yard penalty, first down.
The block in the back against Dixie State on the return. I thought I heard him call out number 24 on that penalty, but it was 24 on the return. 8:22 to go. Dixie State will start the next drive. And on first down, Easton Smith is in at quarterback. They're going to try Easton. And he takes a quarterback keeper 1 yard. From the 31 to the 32-yard line. But Easton Smith, the sophomore out of Payson, Utah, is in at quarterback. They've split time between he and Trent Darms. It's that close of a battle in fall camp. Delayed handoff. Lawrence Starks will go for 6 yards, and it'll be third down and 3 upcoming from the 39-yard line. Smith, the sophomore out of Payson, Utah. Empty backfield, 5 receivers set, 3 to the far side, 2 to the near side. Shotgun snap to Smith. Pass across the middle is complete. Hauled in, center of the field by Connor Miller, and that will go for a first down and then some. And Dixie State moves the chains. Great throw by Easton Smith. Put the ball up there where Connor could get to it. Miller hauls it in, his second catch of the day. And the first down for the Trailblazers. Read option. Smith's going to keep it across the 50. He's got some wheels on him. Across the 40, 45, 30. Banged out of bounds across the 30. Down to the 28-yard line.
For another fabulous Freddy's first down.
24-yard pickup for Easton Smith. And they're going to hurry up back to the line from the 28. Dixie State offense is moving.
Timeout for Lewis.
Fort Lewis going to take a timeout. 6:42 to go in the second. We will step away. Let's take a 30-second timeout. Dixie State 10, Fort Lewis 3, back in 30 on the Trailblazer Football Network.
Radio Dixie 91.3. We don't play that. Nope, not that. A big fat no there. That's what we play. And stuff like that. On St. George's only alternative, Radio Dixie 91.3. Oh, and from 9 till midnight, we play this. I need a one dance. And this. Radio Dixie 91.3 FM.
Good look at the Trailblazer band. Dixie State a 10-3 lead with 6:42 to go in the second. The Trailblazers trying to add to this. Current drive, 4 plays, 40 yards. Drive summary. Easton Smith came in, played quarterback. No gain on his first rush. Lawrence Starks then went for 7 yards. And for the first down, Easton Smith across the middle to Connor Miller for a 9-yard pickup. And Easton Smith, 24-yard run on the read option run. And off to Sajay on a first down. He'll get him a 3-yard pickup. Referee still had his microphone on. You could hear that. Whistles blowing. Hear him run in and say, hey, we're done. Let him go. That's been something that I have been clamoring for as a football fan, an announcer, just in general. They feel like they let that go way too long sometimes and can lead to injury. Second down. Miscommunication between Say-Jay and Easton Smith, and he's going to lose a yard. Third down and 8 forthcoming. In fact, now they're going to move back up, say no gain. Third down and 7 for the Trailblazers. Smith and Alongo just not on the same page. Smith expecting him to go to the left to the right side, and Say-Jay went to the left. Substitutions here for the Trailblazers on third down. They will say it lost a yard now. Third down and 8. 5:35 and ticking. Two receivers to either side. Smith in the shotgun. Say-Jay at his right hip. Has time. Pump fake, lob to the end zone. Receiver is there. He threw it too far. If that would have been Devin Osborne, he could have gone up and get that at 6'7". So that was Isaiah Wooden, 5'8" freshman out of San Diego, California, in Helix High School. And Wooden couldn't quite get up there and make the catch. Juan Dancer was in the neighborhood as well, but that pass clearly intended for Isaiah Wooden. 5:24 to go here in the second quarter. Dixie State. Ball at the Fort Lewis 26-yard line. They're going to go for it on fourth down, kind of in that no man's land. Smith on 4th and 8, looking. He's going to roll out to the left. This one's coming back. Pass complete. First down yardage to DeJuan Dantzler, far sideline. But it's coming back. Holding. Flag back at the 34-yard line. Here comes the call from Jeff Reed.
58. Offense. Still fourth down.
That penalty. You're going to go against Brandon Turner, the left tackle. Now it's fourth down and 18. And I think maybe now you bring Carlson out onto the field and let him punt away. Still offense on the field, unless you're going to take another one of those delay of game penalties to try to give Carlson a couple more yards. But fourth down and 18 from the 36. Dixie State indeed going to keep the offense on the field. Play clock at 3, 2, 1. And here's the snap. Smith loads up, fires near sideline, and Dantzler couldn't make the catch. Looked like there was contact. He can't believe it. Incomplete. Ball will go back to Fort Lewis. Turnover on downs. Smith put the ball in a pretty good spot. There was definitely contact. Dantzler holding his hands out as Cam Theory had both hands right in Dantzler's back. No flags fly, and Fort Lewis will get the ball back with 4:54 to go here in the second quarter. It's a game that in some ways has felt like Dixie State has kind of controlled things, and yet with just under 5 minutes to go until the break, just a one-touchdown game. Lowry backpedaling, pressure comes, he's going to have to run, fires back center of the field. Hatton there, and he can't get to it. He was covered by Trayvon Watson, safety. Dixie State coach is unhappy with something. Not sure if they were asking for a hold there or what. You get a good look at head coach Shane McClure. Third year here at Dixie State. Really trying to build a culture. A winning tradition here at Dixie State. Done a great job for his first 2 seasons as head coach. And off to the tailback, TJ Telfy, trying to get the left corner. He'll pick up 2 yards, but that is as far as he will get, and is forced out of bounds on the near sideline. 4:43 to go until halftime. Third down, and we'll call it 9 forthcoming.
Hey, let's get loud for third down and jump around.
Mind you, the halftime show coming up. first half stats, first half highlights, break it down. We'll also take a look around the RMAC, let you know what's going on around the conference. 4:42 to go. Snap to Lowry. Pressure comes. Will load up. Fire deep downfield. Man is there, and it's tipped. Incomplete. Jalen Moore, Alex Lilliard, and Mike Jones all in the area. And that pass is incomplete. Lowry probably lucky that pass wasn't picked off. It'll be a punt. Max Peets.
Back up 5 yards. Right now! Right now!
With 4:33 to go. Aaron Simpson at his own 15. Punt away. Good punt. Simpson calls for the fair catch. The 20 nearly dropped it. Falls ahead to the 21-yard line. .425 to go until halftime. Take a look out into the stands, and this is a packed house. In fact, it would look like almost a sellout if it was still just the east side. We're going to get a good look at it here. Great crowd on hand here for this home opener, nearly completely filled on the east side. On first down, Sejay Luongo off to the right end. And he'll pick up 1 yard. Second down and 9, 4:15 and ticking until halftime. Fort Lewis has done a really good job of containing Sejay to this point. He's had one run where he's really been able to break it out. 9 carries for 36 yards. Smith fires, pass caught. Brad Duran makes the catch, makes a man miss. 35 near the 40. And Dixie State moves the chains. Good to see Brad Duran making a catch, making a guy miss, picking up the first down for the Trailblazers. Here's a guy that redshirted his freshman year and came back this year for his 5th year here at Dixie State, graduated in the spring, and he's back in more classes. Play his 4th year of football. Easton Smith is going to go down. Nowhere to go. He's sacked back to the 31-yard line. He'll lose 7 yards on the play. Back to Brad Duran. He's one of those guys that just talked to Coach McClure, and he's one of those guys that you just love to coach because he will do anything for you. He's a receiver you love as a quarterback. He'll put in extra time with you. Catch pretty much anything thrown his way. Just an overall good guy. Smith going to the sideline. Connor Miller making the catch on second down and 16, and he'll make his way out to the 44-yard line. How about a pickup of 12? Needed 16, picked up 12, so it'll be 3rd down and 4, much more manageable than 16 yards. We're going to say officially 3rd down and 5 now. 2:25 to go. Trips to the far side for Easton Smith. Lawrence Starks in with Smith. Quick fire. Catch made by Devin Osborne, the 6'7" sophomore. A slant route inside. He makes the catch and then gets some yards after the catch. And he's into Fort Lewis territory to the 44-yard line. 15-yard pickup from Easton Smith to Devin Osborne. Dixie State putting something together here. 2 minutes remaining here in the first, and a timeout going to be taken by Fort Lewis.
Timeout. Fort Lewis. That's their second charge of the half.
1:58 to go until halftime. Dixie State 10, Fort Lewis 3. Let's take a 30-second timeout and come right back for the conclusion of the first half of the Trailblazer Football Network.
Radio Dixie 91.3. We don't play that. Nope, not that. A big fat no there. That's what we play. And stuff like that. On St. George's only alternative, Radio Dixie 91.3. Oh, and from 9 till midnight, we play this. I need a one dance. And this. Radio Dixie 91.3 FM.
Welcome back inside the broadcast. A great look at the Dixie State campus. Jeffrey R. Holland building. That big building you see there that houses the library, among many other things. There's a Stampede student section. How strong for this first home football game of the season. They were given some t-shirts, as you can see those there. We were also giving out Chartway Federal Dixie State t-shirts as well for the Red Out tonight. The Chartway, and the snap gets past Easton Smith, and he'll fall on it. Across the 50. That's going to be a big loss. Not sure how that happened, but it just got past Easton Smith. He took his eyes off the ball. It will roll back across the 50 to the 44-yard line, or the 46, excuse me, is where that ball is going to be placed. It'll be second down. And as some like to say about City Block, second down and 23. 1:20 to go until halftime. We'll see how much that changes, or how aggressive this Dixie State offense wants to be before the break. Smith loads up. He wants it all, fires deep downfield, and the catch is made inside the 15, inside the 10, down to the 5. Giovanni Sanders, the freshman, going up, making the catch in double coverage. How about that? Dixie State in business, answering my question about how aggressive they wanted to be before the break. Double coverage, and he's able to turn and make the catch. Coach McClure told me that this is one of those freshmen you need to look out for. And Giovanni Sanders making the longest catch of his collegiate career. Now whistles ring, and a timeout taken with 49 seconds remaining.
Fort Lewis.
Fort Lewis.
That's their last charge timeout of the half.
Going to take its final timeout. We'll keep it right here. Easton Smith loads up and puts this one on the money into double coverage. He put it right where Sanders needed to go to turn around and make that catch. Two Fort Lewis defenders, I think they were expecting to see that ball go a little bit further. Sanders was able to turn and see that it was coming in shorter, and he turned and made the catch. What a play. 49-yard hookup from Easton Smith to Giovanni Sanders. And Dixie State in business. Let's give you another look at it. Well, maybe not. Here it is. Look at it from a different angle. As Sanders able to go up for it. Man, what great camera work. Who do we have down there on that camera? That's a great shot. I think that's Dave. I can see through my binoculars correctly. Shout out to Dave for that great shot. He's been in the program a couple of years. Great shot. Another shout out to our CEC TV crew. Great staff, great students. 49 seconds remaining until halftime. Dixie State has all 3 timeouts. Fort Lewis is out of timeouts, and the Trailblazers would love to make this a 2-touchdown game before the break. They get the second half kickoff as well. Smith on first down will toss it to Xavier Smith to the 5, diving for the pylon, can't quite get it. On the sweep. Now that technically should go in as a pass, as it was a forward pass to Xavier Smith. 44.7 seconds remaining.
Once again, we ask you please not sit on the rails. Please do not sit on the rails.
Here we go. Second down and goal from the 1. Smith, hand off to Lawrence Starks, and Starks will jog it into the end zone for the touchdown. The freshman able to walk into the end zone, and that's his first collegiate touchdown. Congratulations to Lawrence Starks, and he gives Dixie State a 16-3 lead with a PAT pending, 42 seconds remaining. What a drive. 9 plays, 78 yards, 3:43 off the clock. Trailblazers lead it 16-3. Snap to Duran. The hold. The kick is up, and it's good. Yergi able to split the uprights, and Dixie State a 17-3 lead, 42 ticks remaining. Again, we'll keep it right here with the full halftime break just around the corner. Dixie State 9 plays, 78 yards, 3:43 off the clock, and they lead it 17-3 as Lawrence Starks, a great read option play. Easton Smith has the option to hold on to that ball if he wants to, but he could see where all the defense was, leaves it with Starks, and Starks into the end zone untouched. Trailblazers lead it 17-3 with 42 seconds remaining. I want to remind you, halftime show coming up. We'll break down the first half for you. Give you some more stats brought to you by Neaters. Dixie State has scored 2 touchdowns. Those brought to you by TDS tonight. Remind you that our interceptions brought to you by Intermountain. Fabulous Freddy's sponsoring our first downs. Red Lion Hotel, sponsor of our sacks. Jimmy John's, their fumble sponsor. And we'll hear from, but Hungry Howie's helping us out in the postgame. A.J. Jurgensen will tee this one up. Devontae Norman back deep to receive it, standing at about his own 10. It will get, he didn't call the fair catch, so he'll field it at the 2, he'll have to return it. And Dixie State able to wrap him up and bring him down at about the 16-yard line. You see some of his teammates there were saying, hey, motion for that fair catch, and he just was not able to motion for it soon enough. And an injured Dixie State player on the far sideline. Fort Lewis trainer is going to get to him first. Dixie State trainer Bruno Silva now out onto the field. Kelby Hoffhines joining him. That's Lionel Masivi, one of the freshmen, and he's able to jog off on his own power now. One of the things you love, it doesn't matter what color your jersey is. You get hurt on the Dixie State side, and you're a Fort Lewis player, those Dixie State trainers will be out as quick as they can to attend to you. Same thing on the Fort Lewis sideline. Everyone helping each other out. I want to give our Intermountain Healthcare trainers big shout out for all they do. Jake Lowry on a first down with 35 ticks remaining will hand off to Lucero, and he's wrapped up and taken down. He goes for a loss of 2 yards on the play.
Timeout.
And Dixie State's going to take a timeout with 29 seconds remaining. Interesting. Stop going to be made by Charlie Coca. Transfer from Adams State, played in the RMAC. Take a look at that Dixie State volleyball match. Life stats haven't updated for quite some time. See if we can get those updated. And it is final. Dixie State sweeps the Yellow Jackets of Black Hill State 25-23, 26-24, and 25-21. So 2 3-set sweeps for the Trailblazers in South Dakota. They'll come home with a 7-2 overall record and 2-0 in the RMAC. A great crowd here on hand at Trailblazer Stadium. And we'll be anxiously awaiting the announced attendance. I'm eyeballing it here. And there are people everywhere in here. There are people filling up the west side. There are people standing around down on the south end. There's people on the east side. Here we go. 2nd down and 11. Read option. Lowry's going to keep it. He's brought down. Does Dixie State spin another quick timeout? They do, with 23.6 seconds remaining. It'll
Timeout. Dixie State.
We keep it right here. Second timeout of the half for Dixie State. That'll give me time to look up this number I wanted to give you. The single game attendance record here at Trailblazer Stadium for the Division II era, 5,320. That was against Humboldt State back in 2006. And I believe, as I pull it up here just to make sure, I don't want to say the wrong thing, I believe that was the first game played in this stadium as a member of Division II. Indeed it was. September 23rd, 2006, Dixie State fell 48-28 to Humboldt State. So that is your single game attendance record, the only time we've seen a crowd of more than 5,000 on hand here at Trailblazer Stadium, I think, until tonight. I think we set a new record just eyeballing it here tonight. I think we probably have over 6,000 here tonight. 23 ticks remaining. Hand off to TJ Telfy. Does he have enough for the first down? No, he doesn't. Stopped at the 20. Timeout taken. Clock rolls down to 16 seconds, which McClure may ask for a couple seconds to be put back on this clock. We'll see if they grant him that. Shiloh Pritchard in on the stop.
Dixie State, that's their final timeout of the half. Game clock operator, please set the game clock to 18 seconds.
They are going to put nearly 2 full seconds back onto this here. 16.2 seconds remaining. Check that, 18 seconds remaining. I just said they're going to add 2 seconds, and I read the time before they put the 2 seconds back on there. 18 seconds remaining in the first half. Dixie State is 17-3 lead. How about that? I like the aggressive approach. You've got all 3 timeouts left. Why not use them? Defense has been swallowing up the Fort Lewis run game. Fort Lewis didn't want to do anything crazy through the air. They ran it 3 times. Dixie State able to get 3 stops. And now you're forcing Max Peets to punt from his own 5-yard line once again. And you never know. I mean, you bring the pressure, maybe a bad snap. You never know what could go wrong here. And Dixie State trying to see what they can do to perhaps put some more points on the board before the break. Aaron Simpson standing in his own 30. Punt is nearly blocked. Not quite, though. End over end kick. And that ball is going to roll down across the 25, down to the 23, and it's down with 5.4 seconds remaining. Aaron Simpson let that ball go. Now Dixie State, I'm sure, is just going to kneel this out. That'll go in the book as a 58-yard punt for Max Peets. Easton Smith will bring the troops back out onto the field, but I would be shocked if they do anything besides just kneel on it here to end the first half. Dixie State a 2-touchdown lead, and they get the second half kickoff. Indeed, they will kneel on it. Dixie State, 17-3 lead going into the halftime break. It's been all Trailblazers. Here in the first half, they are sitting pretty with a 2-touchdown lead, and they get the first possession of the second half. Great look of Giovanni Sanders walking off the field. He made that great touchdown catch to set up the Lawrence Starks 1-yard touchdown run to give Dixie State a 17-3 lead. We are going to step away on the TV side. Let's take the full 5-minute timeout. We're going to toss it back to Martin in the Radio Dixie 91.3 FM studio. He'll have a halftime report for you inside the studio. And then right before we start the second half, we'll be rejoined on the radio side. We'll take a 5-minute timeout on the TV side, and we'll come back with the halftime report. We'll break it all down for you. 17-3, Dixie State leading at the half. We'll be back after this timeout.
Oh, lunchtime. I'm starving.
Yeah, me too. Hey, Carrick, have you heard about the most exciting new thing on campus this semester?
Oh, you must be talking about the new grandstand addition on the east side of Trailblazer Stadium.
No, man, that's actually not what I'm talking about.
Oh, you must be referring to the new Human Performance Center they're building on campus.
Well, that's a good guess, Carrick, but nope, wrong again.
Oh, I know. You mean that this is the first season for Dixie State as a full member in the RMAC?
All those things are really exciting, Carrick, but the most exciting new thing on campus is the new Trailblazer Weekly show every Wednesday at 3 p.m. on CEC TV, the Dixie State Athletics YouTube page, and on Radio Dixie 91.3 FM.
You're right. That is more exciting. Trailblazer Weekly, every Wednesday at 3 p.m. beginning on August 29th on CEC TV, Dixie State Athletics YouTube page, and Radio Dixie 91.3 FM.
At Kneaders, we start simple, making bread from scratch with just a handful of ingredients. It's not the easy way, but it's worth it. Honest bread made without shortcuts. When you come to Kneaders, every loaf of bread, every sandwich starts here. Yes, it takes more time, but that's why we get an early start. Stop by today for dine-in, takeout, or drive-through.
Let's hear it for our Dixie Blaze. Trailblazer Nation, tonight we will be cutting the ribbon on the East Grandstand. As a university and as an athletic department, we've been pioneering new pathways to success. And we are grateful all of you could be here to celebrate this momentous occasion. Joining in the celebration, we invited members of all dance companies, Premier Dance, Dixie Arts, and Star Dance Studio. Members of the Dixie State University Brooks Buddies Club, DSU's Dixie Blaze dance team and cheer team, and Brooks the Bison perform a dance for you tonight. Let's give them a warm welcome. Yes, get on your feet and get loud. The Chartway Raleigh Towel Toss. A few lucky fans will receive a $100 bill in their towel, courtesy of Chartway. Chartway Federal Credit Union is a proud sponsor of Dixie State Athletics. Get on your feet and get loud. Chartway Raleigh Towel.
It's halftime here at Trailblazer Stadium. Hope you enjoyed some of those halftime festivities. I mentioned in the pregame that we would be having that ribbon cutting, and as we were going to break, I should have remembered that in my head that hey, we're doing this ribbon cutting. We want to let you be able to take part and see that. Man, that was a fantastic ceremony that they had. A lot of student athletes, a lot of administration. President Williams was over there. A lot of the important people who had a big hand in getting that project done were over there, and it was fun to see Taylor Godfrey, softball player, there with President Williams. Taylor Godfrey is the president of the SAC, the Student Athlete Advisory Committee here at Dixie State, and they do very important work. Basically the liaison between the student athletes and administration and coaches and faculty, and they do a lot of good work. In fact, Gabby Cabanero, one of our women's basketball players who graduated this last year, was not a SAC representative on the national level. And so it's been fun to see our student athletes be able to help with that. It was a great ribbon cutting ceremony. And now we are back. Dixie State leading 17-3 at the half. Let's give you some quick stats brought to you by Neaters. Dixie State, there was a point early in the second quarter where I was giving you the first quarter stats, and I thought, boy, I did not realize that. In fact, I've got that right here. The first quarter stats, Fort Lewis 86 over 78 of Dixie State. How about that? Dixie State holding Fort Lewis to just 9 yards of total offense in the second quarter. First half stats, Dixie State 206 yards of total offense, 149 through the air, and 57 on the ground. Fort Lewis 95 yards of total offense, 49 through the air, 46 on the ground. Dixie State 8 first downs to just 5 of Fort Lewis. Dixie State leading the turnover battle 3-0 if you count the blocked punt as a turnover, which I do in my book. You have the blocked punt, the fumble recovery, and the interception. And Dixie State able to turn that into a couple of scores as well to lead 17-3. Time of possession 15:33 for Dixie State, 14:27 for Fort Lewis. Dixie State 4 of 10 on third down. How about this? Fort Lewis has not converted a third down play so far in this game. Fort Lewis last week converting on 44% of their third downs. Tonight, not able to do that. Individually, Trent Darms, 3 of 9, that's first quarter stats. Here we go. Now we got the right sheet in front of us. Passing, Trent Darms 4 for 12 through the air, 45 yards. Easton Smith 6 of 8 through the air for 104 yards. So that's your total of 206 yards passing there. CJ Luongo, 9 carries, 36 yards. Of course, Lawrence Starks has 5 carries, 13 yards, but has the touchdown. Trent Darms has the rushing touchdown as well. Connor Miller, 3 catches, 51 yards. Brad Durant, 2 catches, 21 yards. And Giovanni Sanders, of course, the 1 catch for 49 yards. Defensively, Shiloh Pritchard, 5 total tackles. And then Wes Moyai and Anthony Yarbrough with 1 sack each. We've got some first half stats for you. Let's take a look at those as the halftime clock winds down. We'll take a look at the first half highlights. About a couple minutes worth. Dixie State defense was hot right from the start. You see Lowry try to dump it off to Telfy, and then the next play, the punt blocked by Malaki. Malaki able to be recovered and returned back inside, and then a couple plays later, Sajay getting inside the 5 down to the 1. And then Trent Darms on third down, a crucial third down, quarterback keeper into the end zone for the first Dixie State score of the game. Dixie State would, after the A.J. Jurgensen PAT, would lead 7-0. Lowry had a few long passes in that first quarter as he finishes the first half with 49 yards passing, hooked up with Mason Hatton there. And then later, the ball would be stripped out of his hands. Yarbrough with the strip. Wes Moyai with the fumble recovery. Jersey numbers 41 and 42. Second turnover of the game. Later, Lowry firing down the middle of the field. Shiloh Pritchard, Dixie State linebacker, getting the interception. Boy, he's having himself a great season so far through a game and a half. Lowry would pitch it out to Braden Lucero. He would go nowhere. Dixie State getting the stop. That defense has been on fire tonight. And how about this play? Easton Smith, right after he checked into the game, read option run, 20-plus yards on that carry, saying it's not just my arm, I can do it with my feet too. Later in the quarter, firing to Brad Duran, making the catch near the 30, making a man miss. Brad Duran, Mr. Reliable. Later in the quarter, how about a 49-yard pass to Giovanni Sanders down inside the 5. Sanders, the freshman, making that catch. Little sweep to the right side for Xavier Smith. And then Lawrence Starks finishing off the drive for the score into the end zone. 15 minutes on the third quarter clock. Let's play football.
To receive Xavier Smith, Aaron Simpson.
Fort Lewis will kick it off. And it goes into the end zone. And Xavier Smith going to kneel on it. And that is where, after the ball is brought out to the 25-yard line, Dixie State will take over.
Kickoff goes into the end zone. Ball to mark at the 25-yard line. For the Trailblazers, take over. First and 10.
So still a fresh 15 minutes on the third quarter clock. Dixie State a 17-3 lead. We welcome you back inside the broadcast. Carrick segment with you. The voice of the Trailblazers in year 4. And I am loving it. It's been a fun ride over these last 3 years and into this 4th year, and I look forward to being here for many more years. High snap. Trent Darms back in at quarterback. He'll hand off to C.J. Luongo. He'll go nowhere. No gain on the play. The east side stand starting to fill in a little bit more now that the sun has dipped down beyond the press box here on the west side. No gain for C.J. Second down and 10, 14:35 to go. Still waiting for C.J. to break one. C.J. missed 3 games last year due to some dings and some injuries, and he would have gone over 1,000 yards last year if it wasn't for that. He could do that this season. C.J. off tackle to the left side. He'll pick up 7 yards on the play. 3rd down and 3 coming up for the Trailblazers. 14:10 remaining here in quarter number 3, just underway. Want to thank some of our sponsors: Neaters, Lonnie Boy's Barbecue, Intermountain Healthcare, Fabulous Freddy's, TDS, Red Lion, Jimmy John's, Hungry Howie's, Camping World, Mountain America Credit Union. All proud sponsors of Dixie State Athletics. We appreciate it. 3rd down and 3. Darms in the shotgun. Looking, slant route inside. Sanders there, can't make the catch. There was some contact before the ball arrived in the Dixie State sideline. Almost like an Olympic event down there on the sideline. Synchronized, calling for a flag. All of them kind of waving their hands around. They're not going to get the flag, though. Darms puts the ball there, and I don't know. I think that's okay. Kind of a bang-bang play there, Camp Theory. Able to come up with the pass break up there, and I don't think that's a penalty. 13:40 to go. 3 and out for Dixie State on the first drive of the second half. Carlson to the sideline. Will take a Dixie State bounce out inside the 10, inside to the 5-yard line. How about that? Josh Carlson will punt that one all the way down to the 5, a 64-yard punt for Josh Carlson. 13:28 to go in the 3rd, and it will be a 95-yard field. For the Skyhawks. $13:28 to go. 17-3, Dixie State on top. Lowry, first Skyhawks possession of the half. Passes to the outside. Hatton makes the catch. Can't make the man miss, but he'll pick up the 10 yards needed for the first down. Needed 10, got exactly that. 1 play and a first down for Fort Lewis, and now a Skyhawk player is injured on the far sideline, and I think it's Hatton. Dealt with some dings and some injuries last year as well. Your Fort Lewis, he's one of those guys that you do not want to see injured. Hope everything's okay with Mason Hatton on that far sideline. He'll stand to his feet, helmet is off, and he'll make his way over to the sideline. Taking a drink of water, holding the, I think maybe he had a bloody nose. 13:20 to go. Dixie State, 17-3 lead. Just underway here in the second half if you're just joining us. Trailblazers went 3 and out on their first drive of the second half, and now here come the Skyhawks. Read option, Lowry will keep it, didn't fool anybody. No gain. 2nd down and 10. Ball will remain at the 15-yard line for Fort Lewis. 12:46 and rolling here in the third. As Dixie State and Fort Lewis trying to battle it out and see which team will go to 1-1 and which team will fall to 0-2. Snap to Lowry. Pressure comes, dumps it off to Lucero out of the backfield. Bobbles, makes the catch, and his hit spins out of a tackle, but I believe he's out of bounds right at the line of scrimmage. It looked like about a 10-yard pickup, but Lowry went so far back with the pressure coming that he gets back just to the original line of scrimmage, no gain.
Time for another get loud, third down, jump around.
Big third down here. They're going to give 1 yard officially on the dump out to Lucero. Here we go. 5 receiver set. Trips to the near side. Shotgun snap to Lowry. 3rd down and 9. Pressure comes, and he has to just get rid of it. Shiloh Pritchard's there. Anthony Yarbrough is there. And Lowry has to just get rid of it. Incomplete pass and a punt coming for Fort Lewis. Dixie State has been so good defensively tonight. Defensive coordinator Willie Matt Garza has things dialed up and dialed in. .11:50 to go. Punt on the way from Peets, and it's going to sail out of bounds near the 50. Where do they say it went out? They're going to mark it out at the 40. Now Max Peets, his shortest punt of the night. And it's going to be marked at the Fort Lewis 40-yard line. So Dixie State starting in Fort Lewis territory, great field position. Easton Smith is going to come out as they trade possessions. Easton Smith, now your quarterback. Sophomore out of Payson, Utah, and Payson High School. Hand off to Sajay around the left end. He'll make his way forward for a pickup of 3, 2nd down and 7. Ball down to the 37-yard line, and that is where Dixie State will set up its next play. And in motion was Connor Miller. Sajay, the read option fooled everybody except for George Marpong. Marpong said, nope, you're not going any further than 3 yards. They go right back to Sajay. Jumps over to a defender, but he's able to make the shoestring tackle. It'll be a loss of 1 for the Longo, and now a flag flies late. Who is that going against? There were some extracurriculars on the far sideline. Red jersey and a white jersey getting tangled up. Some frustrations boiling over, perhaps. Who are they going to whistle it against? Here comes the call from Jeff Reed.
After the play, dead ball, personal foul, number 7. 15-yard penalty. The down will count. 3rd down.
It's going against DeJuan Dantzler and Dixie State. That's a killer. Oftentimes, it's the retaliator that gets caught. So we'll see the play here. I think they called the wrong number out, because DeJuan Dantzler, you see on the far side, did nothing. They called number 7, and he did nothing. Called the wrong number out. 2nd down and forever. Smith flushed out of the pocket, completes it to the 50-yard line, and Sajay tackled from behind near the 45, down to the 45. And it will be 3rd down and 15 for Dixie State from the Fort Lewis 45-yard line. Pressure came. Lorenzo Tanner got in there. Easton Smith had to flush out of the pocket. Found Sajay, good pickup, except you had 24 yards to go. And now it's down to 15. Oh, now it's 4th down. My apologies. Josh Carlson into punt. I don't know how to count. Goes from 3 to 4. It's not that hard. Carlson will pop it up, and it will be fair caught at the 11-yard line. And that is where Fort Lewis will take over. 10:18 to play in the third. Dixie State and Fort Lewis locked in a battle. here in Dixie State home opener, the Chartway Classic kickoff, and what a turnout we have today. I mentioned earlier, single game attendance record for this stadium as a member of Division II. That's where our records go from. 5,320 people. And the home opener against Humboldt State in 2006. I've got a feeling we break that tonight. And hopefully we continue to fill the stands throughout the year. Read option, Lowry's going to keep it. He's brought down from behind. Did not fool Abraham Reinhardt. The linebacker is there to make the stop. See Reinhardt coming in from the left part of your screen. And he'll bring Lowry down. Loss of 1 on the play. 2nd down and 11. Clock rolling, 9:50 to play here in quarter number 3. Dixie State will have New Mexico Highlands here next week in game 2 of a 3-game homestand. Lowry, pressure comes, loads up, hit as he throws, has a man one-on-one coverage, and no, the ball squirts out late. Tajon Mondi Smith and Mike Jones. Check that, that's Darren Jones, the corner on the far side, one-on-one. Great coverage. He had it, and then the ball came out late. 3rd down and 11. Great shot at Darren Jones there. Jones, sophomore, at New Orleans, Louisiana. 9:33 to go in the 3rd. 3rd down and 11. Lowry feels the pressure again, steps up in the pocket, fires deep downfield, has a man, he can't get to it. Was a couple yards ahead of the intended receiver, Xavier Thibodeau. And Thibodeau not able to run under that one. Lowry got a pretty good arm here. Evaded a defender, fired downfield, across the 50 down to the 40, but Thibodeau, covered by Darren Jones, could not get under it. 2 possessions each for both teams, and a total of 4 punts. Here in this 3rd quarter, Max Pete's punting out of his own end zone. Last time he did, it was blocked by Malaki in the 1st quarter. They bring the house again, can't quite get to it. Aaron Simpson fields it and muffs it. Ball is loose, Dixie State will recover it. Simpson back on it. And a Fort Lewis player flies in late. No flag. Dixie State will take over at its own 35-yard line.
1st and 10, Dixie State.
You see Simpson just the last second kind of took his eyes off the ball, looking ahead. When you're a punt returner, sometimes you have to fight that tendency to want to look down the field and where you're going to make the first move before you have the ball. And Simpson luckily able to fall back on it. There was another red jersey in the neighborhood. Either way, Dixie State back in business at its own 35-yard line. A fresh set of downs for this offense. It's still Easton Smith. He'll hand off to Lawrence Starks, feeling his way across the 40. The announcer calls Sajay Luongo on the carry, but it's Lawrence Starks. He'll pick up 6 yards. 2nd down and 4. Again, however you're joining us tonight, whether it's on TV, radio, or internet, we welcome you inside the broadcast. If you're watching from Durango, Colorado, or wherever you may be watching from, Fort Lewis fan, appreciate you watching. Hope you're enjoying the game tonight. I know I've certainly enjoyed my trips to Durango, Colorado. Everyone was extremely nice when we made our trip out last year. As Dixie State will take a timeout. We'll keep it right here. 8:38 to go. I came back with some fun stories, actually, from that trip to Fort Lewis last year and to Durango. We pulled into town to Durango on a Friday, mid to late afternoon, had a walk through just before dusk on campus at Durango at Fort Lewis. And as we show up, I mean, there's 10 plus mule deer out on the field, the main football field. It's not where the walkthrough was. It was over the practice field. But since I'm not a player or a coach, I took the time to walk over. And I have family, big hunting family. I was able to take a picture of this one particular buck, pretty big buck. And I got a picture of it at the 50, got a picture of it at the 40, 30, 20, 10, 5, and eventually it did make its way all the way into the end zone for the touchdown. But there was deer all over. Talked to Sarah Meyer, the former Fort Lewis SID, the next day, and she said, oh, yeah, they're here all the time. In fact, we have to deal with bears on campus sometimes. And I said, I'm glad we don't have to deal with that problem here in St. George. We're going to go reverse. Here's Wooden around the right end, 45-50, sideline 40, 30, 20, 10, 5, touchdown, Isaiah Wooden, all the way to the house on the reverse. They pull that one out of the bag, and Isaiah Wooden will score his first collegiate touchdown. Oh, baby! We're going to call that one an RMAC Top 5 nominee. I did not see if they actually did the RMAC Top 5 this week. Didn't look like they did, but we'll nominate that for the NCAA D2 Top 5 plays of the week for sure. Low snap on the PAT. Yergi able to get it out still, and he makes it. 8:26 to go. Dixie State leading at 24-6. Starks takes the handoff, tosses to Wooden on the reverse, makes the first man miss, grabs the sideline, and you see the breakaway speed. He could go all the way. Touchdown, Trailblazers. Let's take just a 30-second timeout and come right back on the Trailblazer Football Network.
Hi, good morning. Welcome to our set here of Talking Point Live. We're just getting ready to shoot our show, but we thought we'd put out a little bit of a promotion so you know when this is going to be rebroadcast.
Right. You can find us at 9:30,
12:30,
4:30.
Sorry, did I step on you? I'm always stepping on
You are.
Tune in and watch me step on Jen Moore on Talking
Or
Point Live.
attempt to, anyway.
Welcome back to Trailblazer Stadium. Dixie State leading 24-3, 8:26 to play in the third quarter. And how about an Isaiah Wooden 59-yard run to the house? Dixie State going to be assessed an unsportsmanlike 15-yard penalty after the run. Tevye Toluta'u. Not sure if we saw on replay anything that would show anything that Tevye did. But what a run. 59-yard reverse to the house for Isaiah Wooden, and Dixie State starting to pull away here in the third quarter. Jurgensen, after the 15-yard penalty, will be kicking off from his own 20. Norman standing at his own 15. Jurgensen will put a foot into it. End over end kick will bounce and field it at the 24. And great coverage by Dixie State. Ball comes out late. And Dixie State has recovered it. Is it a live ball? It's not. They're going to whistle it. They're going to blow it dead. Boy, oh boy, if we had replay in Division II, I think his knee may have been down, but cannot wait to get a look at this one. Here we go. It's Norman, instead of letting it roll out of bounds, picks it up at the 23, is hit, and there's knees down. Knee is down. Left knee went down at the 28-yard line. Good call by the officials. Would have been exciting to see that ball go the other way. Fort Lewis will take over at its own 28-yard line. Lowry Lobbing to the sideline, man there. Catch made. Did he get a foot down? No, he did not. Out of bounds. And a flag in the backfield. This may be a roughing the passer where that flag is sitting. Not sure if we have a replay that stays with the quarterback. But where that flag is sitting, we may have a roughing the passer.
After the play, personal foul, number 63 of the offense. Personal foul, number 2, penalties offset, second down. Number 2 does not have to sit out one play due to helmet coming off. Came off due to foul.
So you had Shiloh Pritchard and a Fort Lewis player getting locked up after the play. You see Mondi Smith making the catch on the sideline. It wasn't roughing the passer, offsetting personal fouls. Shiloh Pritchard's helmet came off, but as Jeff Reed, our official, explained, he does not have to sit out of play because it came off due to foul. First down, Lowry escapes the pocket, and he's got himself a first down and then some. Needed 10, got 12. He's got the feet to be able to do that. 8:05 remaining here in the third. Clock will stop momentarily while the chain gang moves, and now it's rolling again. Drop back, saw nothing, and he said, I'm not going to wait for the pressure to bear down this time. And he took off. Reinhardt able to chase him down right about the 40-yard line after the 15-yard pickup. First down and 10, ball at the 40. Blitz coming. Hand off to Telfy. And TJ Telfy will pick up 2 yards on the play. Run off to the right, second down and 8. 7:35 remaining here in third quarter. Been a fun night here at Trailblazer Stadium. Dixie State leading at 24-3. Clock rolling, 7:05. Second down, Lowry loads up, has a man downfield, but overthrows him by 10 yards. That'll bring up third down and 8. Lowry had time, but just great coverage downfield, and the pressure eventually collapsed, and he had to get rid of it. In case you're wondering, the score bug, which tells you what the down and distance, that's actually connected right into the back of our scoreboard here in the press box. So if they've got it wrong on the scoreboard, which they do, it's third down and 8. It will also appear incorrectly on the screen. We apologize for that. Third down and 8. Lowry escapes some pressure. Now he's going to run, trips and fell. Gets back to the original line of scrimmage. In fact, may have lost a couple yards. It's going to be fourth down and 10. Fort Lewis will have to punt the ball away. Anthony Yarbrough in pursuit. Anthony Yarbrough is another one of those freshmen. DeMartini was in there as well. So was Charlie Coca. Yarbrough is one of those freshmen that Coach McClure before the season said, watch out, he's explosive. Clock rolling, 6:24 to go. Peets just gets that punt away. Simpson backing up, calls for a fair catch at the 5. Maybe could have let that one roll into the end zone, but didn't want to risk it. Dixie State will take over at its own, we'll call it 7-yard line, not the 5. 6:16 to go. Let's take a look ahead at our Dixie State Athletics calendar. So men's soccer going 1-1 this weekend with a win over Notre Dame de Namur on Thursday and a loss to Texas A&M International earlier today. Women's volleyball makes their RMAC debut. They win at South Dakota Mines 3-0 sweep last night and a 3-0 sweep at Black Hills State today. On first down, Smith, pass inside, pass is complete. I believe that's Xavier Smith. And he's brought down after a pickup of 20 yards on the play, close to 20 yards. It is Xavier Smith.
for another fabulous Freddy's first down.
Another fabulous Freddy's first down. Smith able to make the catch. Dangerous for a minute. Held the ball out in front of him after the catch, but able to tuck it in. Didn't fumble the ball. Pitch out to the right on first down to Luago. Legs cut out from under him, and he'll dive forward to the 28-yard line. Pick up of 3 for Say-Jay. Fort Lewis player down after the play.
Second down, 7.
Tim Peogafi on the field, and hope he's okay. Skyhawk defender flew in, but the way he took out Say-Jay's leg, Say-Jay landed right on Peogafi's leg. Hope he's okay. We're going to step away. We'll take the break. 30-second timeout on the injury and come right back on the Trailblazer Football Network.
See on page 4 that the projections need to be earthquake next Thursday.
Seriously? Thursday? Can't do that.
This is really inconvenient.
I have yoga that day.
I have no time for this.
So.
I can't do Thursday, but I can do Friday.
Disasters don't plan ahead. You can. Talk to your loved ones about how you're going to be ready in an emergency. Don't wait. Communicate.
Welcome back. 5:39 remaining here in the third quarter. Dixie State a 24-3 lead. Of course, that lead and how much time in the game kind of takes a back seat when we've got injured players. As Tim Peogafi for Fort Lewis has helped off the field. A couple of teammates. Got Lorenzo Tanner there on one side and didn't catch the other number. Now they're going to carry him off the rest of the way. And good applause from both sides. Hope Peogafi's able to be okay. Hate to see people get hurt. My least favorite part about seeing that, but it is about football, but it is part of the game. Second down and 7. Lawrence Starks spun around, and he'll dive forward for 4 more yards. And I called Stark's name, but that's actually Say-Jay in there. Sorry, Say-Jay. Say-Jay Luongo, a 4-yard pickup. It'll be third down and 3. I'm waiting for Say-Jay to just break one here. 5:04 to go. Get that through that first level. He's got that burst, and he can go. Think back to the first play against Central Washington last year. He goes 75 yards to the house. He's got that speed. And in motion from left to right for the Trailblazers. Shotgun snap to Smith. Third down and 3. Will fire across the middle, and it's dropped. Oh, boy. Blake Ince. St. George native, Pineview High School grad, redshirted last year. He was one in motion from left to right. Found his way into the middle of the field, and he just dropped that one, and he'll want to have that one back forever. Keep your head up, Blake. There'll be more opportunities. 4:43 to go. Low snap. Carlson able to handle it, and a booming punt. Will bounce and die at the 10-yard line. What a punt. And it's down at the 10 by the Trailblazers. Josh Carlson. It's exactly why we brought him here. Filling the shoes of Corey Stens, great punter over the last 3 years for Dixie State. Fort Lewis has had to deal with poor field position all night long for the most part. Dixie State leading 24-3. Next chance we get, we'll give you some updates from around the Rocky Mountain Athletic Conference. 4:33 to go. Lowry in the shotgun. Will hand off to Lucero. Started right up the middle, cut it back to the right, and he'll pick up 3 yards. Not much doing for Braden Lucero. 2nd down and 7 coming. All out to the 15-yard line. Non-conference action for Colorado Mesa. They lead it 21-4 at Eastern New Mexico. Lowry going to take that one around the left end. On 2nd down, and he'll pick up the 1st down. Read option run, pulls it out away from Lucero, and Jordan Nichols able to chase him down from behind, but not before he gets a good pickup out to the 32-yard line. And the chains move for Fort Lewis, 3:58 to play. You want to see this Dixie State defense finish this great performance off. I know we're still 3rd quarter. This game is far from over. Lowry will lob, middle of the field, incomplete. And that pass intended for Mason Hatton. Check that. Parker Strahler. It was number 2 on the coverage, Shiloh Pritchard. Clock stopped at 3:48. Dixie State a 24-3 lead. Late in the 3rd quarter. Carrick Segmiller hanging out with you on a college football Saturday. Give you some scores from around the state here when we get a minute as well. Lowry flushed out to his right. Lets it fly, and it doesn't matter. It's picked off. It's coming back. And it's going to go the other way. No one's even trying to make the tackle. And that's returned all the way back to the 10, but it's going to be a 1st down for Fort Lewis because Jake Lowry took a shot after the throw. That was easy to see. Referee didn't even have
Personal
to think.
foul, roughing the passer. Number 99, defense. 15-yard penalty, 1st down.
You're going to get the boo birds from the Stampede below. Not sure if you can hear those or not, but it's the right call. We'll probably take a look at it here in just a minute. 3:35 to go. And now, unfortunately, a Fort Lewis player down on the far side in the scrum on what was a return that you knew was coming back. It's unfortunate. You wonder if maybe, and I guess you have to let the play develop. If you complete the pass, maybe he keeps going. That player is helped up and taken off. I believe that is Jeffrey Brinkley on the far side. Throw is made, and that was the previous throw. I don't think that was actually the throw that we just saw. There was no question whether it was a penalty or not, but I said, no, it's not really possible because you have to wait and see if maybe that pass is completed, and you could decline the penalty and see what happens. Here we go. Get DeMartini coming in. Kind of bang, but hit him high, and they try to protect those quarterbacks. Lowry, pressure comes, and he's going to go down. Sacked by Charlie Coca. The transfer from Adams State. This Dixie State defense has pretty much been camped out in the pocket tonight. And Jake Lowry just saying, boy, can I get a couple of seconds to myself back here? .235 remaining. 2nd down and 11. Lowry, shotgun snap. Fires to the sideline. Pressure coming again. Had to just get rid of it. Pass was intended for Tajon Mondi Smith. It's incomplete. And Ryan Wilson on the coverage. 3rd down and 11. Dixie State trying to get the ball back with 2:28 remaining in the 3rd. Colorado Mesa has just extended their lead to 28-0 right before halftime at Eastern New Mexico. CSU Pueblo hosting Chadron State tonight. We'll get you that score as soon as we can. Lowry on 3rd down and 11. Going to be flushed out of the pocket. Room to run to the 50, 45, and he's got the 1st down to the 40. just shy of the 40 to 38, but enough for the first down. And Jake Lowry, he's an athlete. He's not giving up on anything. He'll pick up the first down. Fort Lewis moves the chains. Two minutes remaining. First down and 10 at the Dixie State 42. Lucero around the left end. And he'll pick up 1 yard. Second down and 9. Fourth quarter, number 12, CSU Pueblo with a 34-13 lead over Chadron State. CSU Pueblo, very, very good. Cream of the crop inside the Rocky Mountain Athletic Conference. Dixie State felt like, you know, they beat themselves, not entirely, but, you know, missed simple assignments, missed tackles, you know, things that are kind of textbook things. It had changed, maybe it would have been such a blowout last week. Lowry out to the left, floats it to the end zone, and it is incomplete. Nobody there. Nearest receiver was Mason Hatton standing at the 15-yard line. Tajon Monty Smith was on the near side of the field, almost near the numbers on the left side. Offensive line finally gave him some time. He bought some time with his feet as well. And let that ball fly. I think he was trying to get it to Tajon Monty Smith. And it just kind of slipped out of his hand. There's a good look at Fort Lewis head coach Joe Morris, second-year head coach. 1:12 to go, third down and 9. Watch for Lowry running here. He'll throw across the middle, complete. Right at the sticks, it's going to be a first down. And Mason Hatton, he's trying to argue, hey, I never hit the ground. He's brought down by a Dixie State defender. He's trying to say, I landed on the defender, not the ground. We'll get a look at it here. But another third down conversion for Fort Lewis, and the drive continues. Catch is made. Mason Hatton never went down. What a great shot from our CEC TV crew. For all of you Fort Lewis fans throwing stuff at your phone or your TV or your computer, whatever you're watching on, I'm right there with you. Mason Hatton was never down on that play. Hard probably to tell in real time. We can run it back and slow it down a little bit. Great shot from our CEC TV crew. First down, Lowry. He's able to escape and fires. Pass is complete. Dixie State fans want to hold. They're not going to get it, and they are upset. So are the coaches, and I am with them. Remington Kelly was mugged in the backfield. 32.6 seconds remaining. They're going to probably go here. We will get a replay here. Right there. It wasn't Kelly. It was Donovan Williams. And that should be a hold all day long, and it was not called. 25 seconds and ticking. Trick play. Hatton fires, and that's incomplete. They ran a reverse. Hatton ended up with it inside the pocket, and he threw a pass back to Jake Lowry, the quarterback. Trying to go all Philadelphia Eagles on us. And it's incomplete. Looked more like the New England Patriots on that play. Sorry, Patriots fans, had to do it. 19.8 seconds remaining. Dixie State a 24-3 lead. The Trailblazers have been really good on a first and second down in this drive, but have not been able to get a third down stop. 19.8 seconds remaining. Low snap, it's loose, and Lowry dives on it. It'll be third down for Fort Lewis. Clock rolling, and that may do it for the third quarter. And now a flag flies late. Goodness gracious, I hope that's not against Dixie State. There's some extracurriculars going on, things getting chippy. Saw this a couple of years ago with this Dixie State squad. Like I said, I don't know if it's against them yet. But that has been a little bit of a crutch over the last few years. We were better last year. They only had 4 total penalties last week. So here we go. Here's the call. Hopefully it's not against Dixie State.
After the play, we had 2 penalties. Unsportsmanlike conduct, number 20 of the offense, number 3 of the defense. Those penalties offset, third down.
So it goes both ways. anytime there's kind of a scrum like that, you like to see it go both ways. You had Reinhardt and Braden Lucero kind of going at it, barking at each other. They're both called for a penalty. They offset, and that'll do it for the third quarter. Clock hits triple zeros, and we are 15 minutes away from Dixie State getting back in the win column. The Trailblazers lead it 24-3. Fort Lewis again knocking on the door of the red zone. 3rd down and 13 forthcoming from the Dixie State 24-yard line. 24-3, Dixie State lead, a 60-second timeout, and back on the Trailblazer Football Network.
At Kneaders, we start simple, making bread from scratch with just a handful of ingredients. It's not the easy way, but it's worth it. Honest bread made without shortcuts. When you come to Kneaders, every loaf of bread, every sandwich starts here. Yes, it takes more time, but that's why we get an early start. Stop by today for dine-in, takeout, or drive-through.
I take the road less traveled, run free, unwind, unravel someplace outside with lots to do. Green trees, red rocks, and don't forget that blue sky. The sunshine shining, sunshine pouring on me. Think I might just stay a while. Say hooray all day because the sun is gonna shine on me. Sun is gonna shine on me. Sun's gonna shine on me.
Welcome back to Trailblazer Stadium, Dixie State. 24-3 lead, but 3rd down and 13. 15 minutes on the 4th quarter clock. We'll give you some 3rd quarter stats. Stats updated through the 3rd quarter. Brought to you by Kneaders here in just a moment. Lowry has time. Now the pocket collapses. Lowry able to evade defenders, and he's going down way back in the backfield, down to the 40-yard line. It's going to be a 17-yard loss. He made one man miss, lost his footing, and then was not able to avoid it eventually. Another Red Lion sack for the Trailblazers. Reinhardt, Williams, who gets it eventually. It's going to be Reinhardt and Sewell in on the sack. 14:25 remaining. And they're going to go for it. 4th and 13. No, he's quick punt. Quick kick from Jake Lowry. And that will roll down inside the 10 to the 9-yard line, and that's where Dixie State will take over. Thinking about starting a segment during the game. Maybe we'll do it. Maybe we'll try to do it at the start of the 4th quarter every game. Random stat of the day. Brought to you by Kneaders with our stats tonight. Dixie State, last time the Trailblazers won the 2nd game of the year, 3 years ago. September 10th, and a big win over Central Washington. The Trailblazers went crazy on the run game in that play. It's the last time they've won their 2nd game of the year. Sage takes the handoff on 1st down. We'll dive forward for a couple of yards. We'll have 2nd down and 8, 13:55 and rolling. When I say 2nd game, I don't mean their 2nd win of the season, but literally the 2nd game on the schedule.
There to make the stop, Donnell Pleasant, Ray Cortez.
And I called Sage's name. That's Lawrence Starks on the carry. My bad. They look pretty similar. Sage's got Lawrence by a couple of pounds, but AJ out of the game at this point with a 3-score game. Smith fires to the outside, and a tight end, Cody Hobbs, and it's incomplete. I'll bring up 3rd down and 6. You'd hate to give the ball back up this quickly and possibly conceding this much field position. Easton Smith commanding the troops. He and Trent Darm split time last week and this week, but for most of the second half, it's been Easton Smith. Maybe he's going to be the guy. Easton fires outside, catch made for the first down, just past the sticks. I believe that's DeJuan Dantzler. Indeed it is. DeJuan Dantzler making the catch for another Fabulous Freddy's first down. Makes the catch with Cam Theory draped all over him. Theory did all he could to try to break that pass up. With Dantzler able to make the catch, Dixie State some breathing room. And the clock continues to roll. First down and 10. Ball at the Dixie State 22. High snap. Smith brings it down, hands out to Stark. Starts around the left end, cuts it back inside, spinning across the 25, diving toward the 30. And where do they mark the knee down? At the 29. It's 7-yard pickup for Lawrence Starks. That play was designed to go around the left end, but he saw the pressure there and was able to cut it back inside and was eventually brought down by Darian Stickney. 12:30 remaining in the fourth. Snap to Smith. Smith gonna roll out, now he's just gonna run. Smith will have the first down right at the sticks, reaches for it. Needed 4, got 4. First down and 10 for the Trailblazers. Chains will move. Dixie State needed more breathing room. Across the 30 to the 32-yard line. First down and 10. Clock rolling again after the chains move. Fabulous Freddy's first down. And Dixie State 24-3 lead. Snap to Smith. Slant route inside, caught by the tight end Hobbs. Tries to duck inside of the tackler. Gets maybe 2 more yards out of the play. We'll give him, let's call it 5 yards. I'll call it 4 yards, long 4. Second down and 6 remaining. Across the 40 to about the 42-yard line, not quite to the 42. Check that, 37-yard line. All those lines out in the field, we get confused sometimes. 11:28 to play. Read options. Smith going to keep it. Looked like he was going to be stopped in the backfield, and now he's hit. And out of bounds, he's hit. Dixie State sideline calling for the penalty, and they're going to get it. Fort Lewis defender trying to argue that Smith wasn't quite out of bounds. And now you've got a Fort Lewis defender with his arm around the official.
After the play, personal foul, late hit, out of bounds. Number 5, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Dre Cortez coming up to make that hit. And it was close. We're going to get a look at it here. Good stiff arm by Smith to even get away. And it's close. I think it's close enough that you make the call, especially because you have a quarterback giving himself up on the sideline. He's basically saying, you know, I'm done. I'm stepping out of bounds. He's got a foot out of bounds. You got to stop the momentum at that point. Play action. Smith going to have to just get rid of it. Flag flies on the near side, sitting at the 43-yard line. Took Fort Lewis a minute to realize that that had been play action. Once they did, pressure got in, and Smith had to just dump it to the far sideline. Now a flag sitting on the near sideline about the 43-yard line. Here's the call.
Ineligible receiver downfield, number 59 of the offense. 5-yard penalty, first down.
Dane Hall, freshman out of Mililani, Hawaii, getting caught downfield. Ineligible receiver. Dixie State will have first down and 15. Ball back across the 50 at the 48-yard line. Clock stops, 10:57. 24-3, Dixie State lead. Hand out to Sejay. Like he was going to go to the outside, and he bounced it back inside, and he'll pick up 1 yard on the play. It'll be second down and 14, down to the 49-yard line. Dixie State will have 2 more home games after this before they head out on the road for a 2-game road trip. New Mexico Highlands here next week. South Dakota Mines in 2 weeks. Fort Lewis, on the other hand, continues a 2-game road trip next week. Heading up to Chadron, Nebraska to take on the Eagles of Chadron State College. Chadron State put in a brand new turf field over the offseason. Extensive remodels on the home side, the grandstand, the press box. Dixie State will take a timeout.
Second of the half.
10-10 remaining. Let's step away. We'll take a 30-second timeout. Trailblazers lead it 24-3 with 10-10 to go in the fourth. 30-second timeout and back on the Trailblazers Football Network.
Radio Dixie 91.3. We don't play that. Nope, not that. A big fat no there. That's what we play. And stuff like that. On St. George's only alternative, Radio Dixie 91.3. Oh, and from 9 till midnight, we play this. I need a one dance. And this. Radio Dixie 91.3 FM.
Welcome back, 10-10 to go. Here in quarter number 4, Dixie State never did get you those third quarter stats. They've changed a lot since then. But through 3 quarters, Dixie State was out gaining Fort Lewis 30-13 to 169, including 138 yards on the ground and 175 yards through the air. Dixie State 4 of 12 on third downs. Fort Lewis 2 of 13, and some of those have just come in the last 10 minutes of game time. Second down and 14 at the Dixie State 49. Smith, plenty of time to throw, will step up, fires deep to the end zone, has Xavier Smith, and he can't quite run under it and make the catch. Had to kind of slow down and look over his shoulder. Couldn't quite get it. Again, maybe if that's 6'7" target Devin Osborne, he can go up and maybe try to make that catch, reach those long arms out. But Xavier Smith, 5'10", not able to run under that one. He's got good speed and a good throw by Smith. By Easton Smith, the quarterback. Smith throwing to Smith there. But Easton wanted to put it somewhere where only his guy could get it. They'll reset and do it again. Third down and 14. Fires, and it's caught. Pass is snared, and he evades the defender. 10, 5, diving for the pylon. Touchdown, Trailblazers. And that's Xavier Smith. Just mentioned his speed before that. He's able to make the snag and goes all the way down the sideline for a touchdown. Now some discussion on the far side. There is a flag down. I think it is going against Dixie State. Referees having a discussion with Fort Lewis. Maybe not. They're walking the ball. And the kicking team is coming onto the field. Maybe the referee, I thought he was going to ask Fort Lewis what they wanted to do. Here we go. Let's get the explanation from Jeff Reed. I can surmise all I want, but the wireless microphone is a thing of beauty. We can get you the call right from the field. Here we go, Jeff Reed.
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, number 53. That penalty and fest on the kickoff. That's 53's first unsportsmanlike conduct.
And after the play, a deep Jowney offensive lineman of St. George, Utah, Desert Hills. He's going to get dinged for the penalty. Now whistles. Coach McClure asking if the penalty can be enforced on the extra point. Or now another flag thrown. And long snapper Dylan Douglas is out on the field, and he's making the call for the official. He's convinced, just judging by his motions, that this is going to be unsportsmanlike against Fort Lewis. Good shot at Coach McClure for our TV viewers. He's a little confused about what's going on. Dylan Douglas, the long snapper, still out there. Now he's walked back to his spot in the middle of the offensive line, trying to have some fun out there. As it stands, it's 30-3. Dixie State up big in the fourth quarter, 9:50 to go. You've got 4 officials deliberating. Here we go. Once again, explanation from Jeffrey. Oh, now they're going to come over and talk to Coach McClure first. So here we go.
Unsportsmanlike conduct, number 92, Fort Lewis. That penalty will be assessed on the kickoff. Those penalties will offset.
There we go. You had an unsportsmanlike against Dixie State after the play. Then when they got him, that was to be enforced on the kickoff. Then when they got everybody lined up to kick the extra point, unsportsmanlike against Fort Lewis, and they offset. We have a regular kickoff. A.J. Jurgensen will line up for the PAT, and it's good. A.J. Jurgensen knocks another PAT through the uprights, and Dixie State leads it 31-3. Xavier Smith going up high, making a man miss, and he gets the sideline, diving for the pylon as Drake Cortez is draped around him. Touchdown, Trailblazers. 60-second timeout and back on the Trailblazer Football Network.
Oh, lunchtime, I'm starving.
Yeah, me too. Hey, Carrick, have you heard about the most exciting new thing on campus this semester?
Oh, you must be talking about the new grandstand addition on the east side of Trailblazer Stadium.
No, man, that's actually not what I'm talking about.
Oh, you must be referring to the new Human Performance Center they're building on campus.
Well, that's a good guess, Carrick, but nope, wrong again.
Oh, I know. You mean that this is the first season for Dixie State as a full member in the RMAC?
All the things are really exciting, Carrick, but the most exciting new thing on campus is the new Trailblazer Weekly show every Wednesday at 3 p.m. on CEC TV, the Dixie State Athletics YouTube page, and on Radio Dixie 91.3 FM.
You're right. That is more exciting. Trailblazer Weekly, every Wednesday at 3 p.m. beginning on August 29th on CEC TV, Dixie State Athletics YouTube page, and Radio Dixie 91.3 FM.
Welcome back to Trailblazer Stadium. Trailblazers leading it 31-3, 9:50 remaining in the fourth quarter. Jurgensen puts a foot into it. New kick returner. Ball is fielded at the 7-yard line across the 20. And he's hit, bounced off a tackler. And then he's hit by the second level and brought down near the 25-yard line. That is Ethan Williams back there returning kicks instead of Javante Norman. And he is brought down. That last scoring drive for Dixie State. 10 plays, 91 yards, 4:14 off the clock. Now you're looking at it. And Easton Smith starting to have himself quite the nice game at quarterback. 10 of 15, 187 yards, a touchdown. Trailblazers a 31-3 lead. Whistles before the play on a first down.
Delay of game, number 10 offense. 5-yard penalty, first down.
Delay of game against Fort Lewis. Now on first down, Lowry throws it behind Mason Hatton, and he can't believe it. He had open real estate in front of him if he's able to make that catch. But Lowry, again, with the pressure bearing down on him, has to just get rid of it. If Lowry can make that catch in stride, he can cut it back up inside, and who knows how far it goes. As it stands, second down and 15 from the 19. Lowry claps his hands, for the ball, lofts it to the outside. It'll be a 5-yard pickup back to the original line of scrimmage. Mason Hatton making the catch. And now we've got an injured Trailblazer on the far side. And that doesn't look good. That's Trailblazer defender. Kind of grabbing at a knee. I think that might be Bryce Willett, the linebacker. Down on that far sideline. Injury bug has been ever present through fall camp, through these first couple of weeks for Dixie State. It's just the nature of the sport. Hope he's okay, the way he's kind of writhing over there. That did not look good. Let's take a 30-second injury timeout and come right back with 9:23 to play in the fourth quarter. Dixie State 31, Fort Lewis 3, 30-second injury timeout, and right back on the Trailblazer Football Network.
I'm Jimmy. This is my definition of fresh since 1983.
Welcome back to Trailblazer Stadium. As you see, hard to see what may have happened. Made that tackle and just got the leg twisted maybe. It was Bryce Willett. He's helped off the field, was not able to put any pressure on that right foot. That right leg. And I think they're going to take him just right back to the training room. Third down. Short pass across the middle, tipped and intercepted by Shiloh Pritchard. But it's going to come back on yet another roughing the passer penalty. Shiloh Pritchard in position, tipped, and it would have been his second pick of the night. But Jake Lowry took a big hit after the play. And the interception's going to be wiped off the board. I think it might be Abraham Reinhardt on the penalty, judging by the interactions between he and Pritchard. We'll wait for the call. Maybe we can take a look at the play if we've got it while we're waiting. And here comes the call now.
Personal foul, roughing the passer. With targeting, number 3, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down. Number 3 has been disqualified.
Oh, boy. Now that's exactly the right call. That was just at the end of our screen there. And I think he may have to miss the first week against New Mexico Highlands now. I'd love to run that replay one more time, see if we can get a look at it again. There's Abraham Reinhardt. Had himself a good game, but that was absolutely the right call. Just did not get the head low enough. As you see him come through, he leads with the head, helmet to helmet. That's textbook. A good call by the officials. On first down, Lucero around the left end. He'll go for 5 yards and is stopped at the 45-yard line. So Abraham Reinhardt will miss the rest of this game and the first half against New Mexico Highlands. That's a starting linebacker you'll be without in the first half. Next week against Highlands. I mean, they can go back and they can look at those, but there's absolutely nothing to look at. And you know, you can't fault the effort. Just with the rule it is the way it is now. You got to be careful. 2nd down and 5. Hand off to Lucero. He's hit, driven back. Gets 1 yard on the play before he's driven back. 3rd down and 4 from the 46. So you just lost Jordan Nichols to an injury. You lose Abraham Reinhardt to a targeting, roughing the passer call. Might be getting kind of thin at linebacker. Out there right now, Shiloh Pritchard, Alex Lilliard, and Jordan Nichols. Very experienced linebacker core out there. 7:35 to go, 3rd and 4. Pressure comes, and Lowry's going to go down, a sack. The ball may have come out late. There seems to be a scrum in there.
For another Red Lions sack of the game.
And whistles. And an injured player. Dixie State player. Goodness gracious. Love the effort. You see people diving on the pile. That's just the problem with diving onto the pile the way players do sometimes. 7:17 to go. Dixie State leading 31-3. Both teams have seen a couple of different players have to leave due to injury, and Dixie State wishes it could just get this last 7:17 off the clock. Let's see if we can see perhaps who it was. Dixie State may have gotten away with a small face mask. And nothing much in that. Let's do this. Another injury timeout. Don't want to just have to sit there and look at the injured player. 7:17 to go. Dixie State leading at 31-3. 30-second injury timeout, and back to Trailblazer Stadium after this.
Hey, let's check out this park. That's really cool. To find a great local park or forest near you, go to discovertheforest.org.
Welcome back. Injured player was Augustus Frazier, freshman linebacker who was in because of some of the injuries, the ejection at linebacker for Dixie State. He gets hurt. Good news is he's able to get up and walk off under his own power. He seems to be okay. Very promising future in that young man's future at linebacker. Peets gets this punt away. And it will bounce and take a Dixie State roll back near the 30-yard line. And now Dixie State player and a Fort Lewis player tied up after the play, and that's Trayvon Watson. Trayvon Watson, no doubt, coming in to try to block the punt. And I believe it was number 69, Griffin Stacy for Fort Lewis, who was part of the wall to protect the punter. And they get into it after the play. There's 2 flags on the ground. I tell you, if you're Dixie State, you got to be able to just walk away from some of this chippiness. You have a 31-3 lead. You've got to be able to walk away from it. You can't afford to do anything that might result in an ejection and missing a game. And you've got to be smart.
Unsportsmanlike conduct, number 13, Dixie State. 15-yard penalty, 1st down.
Oh, they're not going to go double penalty. It's going to be all against Trayvon Watson. Coach McClure wants an explanation. Coach McClure not happy with the official, and the official letting him have it right back on the near sideline. We're going to get a look at it. Oh, it goes out of frame. We won't be able to see it there. Coach McClure not happy, wanted an explanation. You catch the very tail end of it as they were kind of going at it. Not sure what he did. Whatever Coach McClure said to Jeff Reed, the official, The official was not happy. Had to be pulled away by his fellow referee. On a first down handoff. And a stop in the backfield. Lawrence Starks not able to go anywhere. In fact, loses 2 yards. 6:35 and ticking here in the fourth quarter. This kind of chippy game where everyone's going back and forth. It's 31-3 game. You almost wish you could just say, all right, that's it. I mean, nothing good comes from the chippiness and the things that may result from that. 6:13 to go. Handoff, Starks. Hole across the middle. 20, 25, 30. Gets a block. 40, 50, 40, 35, 30. Big run for Lawrence Starks from the 12-yard line all the way down to the Fort Lewis. Where are they going to mark him? They're going to put the ball down at the 28-yard line. And that results in a 60-yard pickup.
Timeout.
And a timeout.
Fort Lewis.
Going to be taken
first of the
by
half.
Fort Lewis. 5:46 to play. Dixie State leading at 31-3. The Trailblazers break out a big 60-yard run for Lawrence Starks. He's having himself a game. Wondered when that would happen. We'll keep it right here during the timeout. Been waiting for the big run, and it finally happened. And it wasn't just end around untouched. It was breaking tackles, yards after contact. I like what I see from this young freshman. Lawrence Starks getting the job done, the freshman out of Fontana, California at Etiwanda High School. Earned All-State and All-CIF honors, named to the Baseline League first team. Claimed the Baseline League rushing title as a senior last year with 1,580 yards rushing and 19 touchdowns. Also recorded 200 receiving yards and 5 more touchdowns. C.J. Luongo is a junior. You're going to have him this year and 1 more year. And you've got Lawrence Starks that can get the job done in the backfield as well. 5:46 to play. Snap to Smith. They'll leave it with Starks again, and he'll dive forward across the 25 to the 25, pick up of 3 yards. Out of a delay, Starks has the option to see what's open. Waiting for that hole to open, cuts it back inside. And picks up 3 yards. Starks on the night. 11 carries for 90 yards and a touchdown. High snap, gives it to Starks again. Feeling his way to the left and then crushed back into the middle of the field. And he'll get down to the 20-yard line for a pickup of 5. Needed 7, got 5. 3rd down and 2. So Starks now with 95 yards rushing. Last time Dixie State had a 100-yard rusher in a game was October 28th last year in the big win over Adams State on homecoming. C.J. Luongo had 187 yards. Blake Barney also had 146 yards on the ground in that game. It has been 3. This would be the 4th game without. As the play clock winds down, they get it off, and Dixie State going to call a timeout with 1 second on the play clock.
Timeout, Dixie State.
Let's take this
Their
one.
final timeout of the half.
4:16 remaining, 31-3, Dixie State on top. Trying to close out this game with an exclamation point. 30-second timeout and back on the Trailblazer Football Network.
There is a place where young and old make connections, where kids feel like grown-ups, and grown-ups feel like kids. There is a place where beauty arises in contrast, where wonder is universal, and laughter second nature. There is a place where friends find a future, families find each other, and feelings find their home. There is a place.
.416 to play. Dixie State leading at 31-3. It'll be 3rd down and 2 for the Trailblazers out of the timeout. Lauren Starks with 95 yards rushing. Easton Smith 10 of 15 through the air for 187 yards. Tritt Darms also completed 5 of 14 passes for 53 yards. 3rd down and 2. Does the drive continue after this play? Play action, quick pass to the tight end. Hobbs makes the catch inside the 5, down to the 4-yard line, making the 3-yard line. Cody Hobbs on the play action. Oh, he's limping after the play. Took a big hit. See if he can just walk it off a little bit. He's going to hobble back to the sideline. Brad Duran into the game. Silva, the trainer, will help him over. Boy, been rough for Dixie State down the stretch. Hope Cody's okay. Back to the game. 1st down and goal from the 3. Snap. Read option. Smith going to try to beat the defenders of the end zone, and he can't get there. Second down and goal upcoming. They're going to say no gain on the play. Did not fool the Fort Lewis defense with the read option. 3:35 and ticking here in the 4th. 2nd down and goal. Snap. He'll give to Starks, and he'll lose a yard. 3rd down and goal, and now a flag. Oh my goodness. Incredible. And the way it looks, looks like it's going to go against Dixie State. Got to be able to keep your cool.
There are 2 fouls on the play, 1 by each team. After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, number 63. Number 4, those penalties offset, 3rd down. This is the first UNS for both players.
Things getting chippy out there. You see him getting into it at the end of the play. Offensive lineman just trying to have his tailbacks back, if you will. 3rd down and goal from the 3. Empty backfield. Snap to Smith. Will lob to the end zone. Osborne is there, and he doesn't know where the ball is. Incomplete. And about fell on his head. Dixie State has not sent the field goal unit out onto the field yet. 4th and goal from the 5, 2:53 to go. Dixie State really going to try to go for this. Or will they send the field goal unit out on the field? They're going to go for it. On 4th and 5. 4th and goal from the 5 rather than kick a field goal. And now a timeout coming. Fort Lewis is going to call a timeout. Now Dixie State may send the field goal unit back out onto the field. We'll keep it right here, 2:53 to go. but still be a little bit surprised at the 31-3 lead. You try to keep the offense out onto the field, but looks like that is probably what's still going to happen. Kicking team has not made its way out onto the field just yet. And 2:53 remaining here in the fourth quarter. Dixie State leading at 31-3. And Carrick Segmiller with you. Been fun to have you along for the evening. Hope you'll continue to tune in for all the home games throughout the year. A little bit different this year. I'm not traveling with the team this year with some changes inside the department. Certainly miss being with the team and don't like missing those games, but there's some good things cooking up inside the department, and it's good to be at home to help out with stuff. 4th and goal, they're going to go for it. They'll fire to Osborne again, and this time he makes the catch. Touchdown Trailblazers, and now a flag at the end of the play again. You've got to be able to keep your head. Flag in the end zone did not come until after the catch, so the touchdown should stand. That may have been more of a, we want to get our receiver an opportunity to run that route again.
Rick Whitney, please, if you're here, go down to the track. In front of the grandstand. Rick Whitney.
Pass interference. Offense number 26, walking downfield. 15-yard penalty. 4th down.
Oh boy. They're going to call pass interference. Offensive pass interference against Connor Miller.
No touchdown.
But that is not even involved in the play, and it's going to wipe out the touchdown. Pass interference against Connor Miller. Now they're going to kick a field goal. 2:48 remaining. Dixie State leading 31-3. What looked like a touchdown is wiped off the board by offensive pass interference. And the field goal's blocked. And the ball will go out of bounds inside the 10. Crazy. 2:42 remaining in the fourth. Dixie State now on defense. They get inside the 5 but cannot score points. Interesting to me that an offensive pass interference downfield. As we take another look at the blocked field goal. And I know what the rules say, but logic says that if a penalty occurs away from the play, it doesn't have any effect on the play, it shouldn't have any effect on the play, really. First down, Lucero will run up the middle. He'll gain 1 yard.
Gain a yard, 2nd down.
.205 and rolling. Now whistles before the play that time around.
False start. 63 offense. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
Five-yard penalty will move the Skyhawks back. 2nd down and 13, 1:42 remaining. They'll hand off. And that's not Braden Lucero in there anymore. That's Macio Love. Clock rolling, 1:20 to play. No gain for Love. Dixie State looking like they're going to win this one. 1:15 to go. Still some things to shore up. One of them can't commit so many penalties. 12 penalties against Dixie State for 200 yards tonight. That is just too many. Love off the left side. He'll pick up 3 yards. It'll be 4th down and 9 with under a minute to go. And that will just about do it. After the game, we're going to toss it back to Martin once more in the Night Radio Dixie 91.3 FM studio. He will wrap things up for you from on the radio side, an opportunity to get some of our radio students involved in the broadcast. We appreciate them and their hard work and him getting us on the air on the radio side tonight. On the TV side, we'll take a short timeout. We'll come back, give you some stats, and give you our player and plays of the game. And that looks like, as the play clock runs out,
delay of game, number 10 offense, 5-yard penalty, 4th down. This is applicable for a 10-second runoff. Game is over.
And there you go. That's how the game will end, on a delay of game penalty and a 10-second runoff. So Dixie State will win it 31-3. It wasn't pretty sometimes. We saw a combined 18 penalties for 200 and check that, a combined 19 penalties for 255 yards tonight. But Dixie State looks good on defense, looked good on offense, and that is how you bounce back from a week 1 loss. 31-3, Dixie State with a 28-point victory. Trailblazers win it. This is Carrick Segmiller bidding you farewell on the radio side. We'll kick it back to Martin. He'll have the post-game wrap-up for you there. On the TV side, we'll take a 3-minute timeout. When we come back, it is the post-game wrap brought to you tonight in part by Hungry Howie's. Dixie State wins at 31-3. Trailblazers improved to 1-1 overall, 1-1 in RMAC play, and Fort Lewis falls to 0-2, both overall and in RMAC play. Thank you for listening on the radio side. Back to Martin in the studio. 3-minute timeout on the TV side. We're back after this.
Did you hear about the pony with a sore throat? He was a little horse. Can I tell you a cat joke? Just kidding. Why couldn't the Wait, why was the basketball court all wet? Why? Because the players kept dribbling all over it. Where did cats go on vacation? New York.
I love taking care of my mom. It wasn't easy at first. She learned how to better communicate her needs.
And you learned how to not ignore yours.
I discovered how to make healthier meals.
And I discovered how much I enjoyed them.
Becoming a caregiver is a learning experience for everyone. Find articles, tips, and tools from experts and others who have been in your place. The Caregiving Resource Center at aarp.org/caregiving.
Radio Dixie 91.3. We don't play that. Nope, not that. A big fat no there. That's what we play. And stuff like that. On St. George's only alternative, Radio Dixie 91.3. Oh, and from 9 till midnight, we play this. I need a one dance. And this. Radio Dixie 91.3 FM.
Hey Dixie State fans, this is Carrick Segmiller.
And Drayson Ball.
We're here to tell you about Trailblazer Weekly, our new show airing every Wednesday at 3 p.m. beginning on August 29th on CEC TV, the Dixie State Athletics YouTube page, and on Radio Dixie 91.3 FM.
On Trailblazer Weekly, we'll bring you in-depth interviews with Dixie State coaches, administrators, and student athletes. We'll also keep you up to date with all the latest Trailblazer Athletics news and game analysis.
Don't miss a second of the action. If it's anything Dixie State Athletics, it's on Trailblazer Weekly every Wednesday at 3 p.m. beginning on August 29th on CEC TV, the Dixie State Athletics YouTube page, and on Radio Dixie 91.3 FM.
Are we there yet?
Yep. We're here.
It's a short drive from your neighborhood to your naturehood. To find a neighborhood park or green space near you, visit discovertheforest.org.
There is a place where the sun doesn't hide in the winter, where the greens stay green and the crimson canyons still glow. There is a place where dimples determine destiny, and a tiny wooden tee holds the outcome and the balance. There is a place where we drive for show, putt for dough, and settle the score with another round. There is a place.
Welcome back inside Trailblazer Stadium and inside the Hungry Howie's post-game show. Dixie State winning it 31-3 here in convincing fashion as the Trailblazers improve to 1-1 overall. Dixie State 1-1 in the RMAC as well. And a fun night here in Trailblazer Stadium. I have not been given an official attendance count yet, but I am pretty sure that we will have a single game attendance record, as this place was packed for the Chartway Classic kickoff, and Dixie State winning it 31-3, and that is exactly what the doctor ordered after a tough loss last week. Again, Trailblazers win it 31-3. And you are inside the postgame show brought to you by Hungry Howie's. And it is time to break this thing down for you. Let's give you some stats. We're going to give you some highlights. We're going to give you, I'll name a player of the game. I'll name a play of the game. And we're going to have fun inside the postgame show. We'll make it quick and wrap things up so our good folks on the TV side can get going and get their weekend underway. I know they've been working hard all night long. Final stats brought to you by Neaters. Dixie State 475 yards of total offense. Fort Lewis just 164 yards of total offense. Dixie State 257 yards through the air, 218 on the ground. The Trailblazers win this one in convincing fashion. Individually for Dixie State, Lawrence Starks leading the ground attack. 13 carries for 93 yards and a touchdown. Isaiah Wooden with, I'm just going to name it right now, and I'm sure we'll see it in the second half highlights as well. But my play of the game tonight goes to Isaiah Wooden and the 59-yard reverse touchdown. That was exciting. That was fun. There's our play of the game tonight. Seiji Luongo, 16 carries, 53 yards. Easton Smith, 7 carries, 22 yards. Easton Smith, how about this? 11 of 17 through the air, 204 yards, and a touchdown. Looked good tonight. Trent Darms looked pretty good as well, but Easton Smith looked good tonight under center, and he may have won himself a start against New Mexico Highlands next week. We'll have to wait and see. Smith, again, 11 of 17, 204 yards, and a touchdown, no interceptions. Xavier Smith, 4 catches for 77 yards and a touchdown. Connor Miller, 3 catches, 51 yards. Cody Hobbs, 3 catches, 27 yards. Brad Duran, a pair of catches and 21 yards. And I should say, maybe we have to split the plays of the game tonight. Isaiah Wooden with the reverse touchdown, and then Xavier Smith had the 51-yard touchdown run as well, as he was able to make the catch and get down into the end zone to made guys miss. That was fun. We're going to take a look at all that stuff inside the post-game report. In fact, let's do that right now. If we've got second half highlights ready in the truck, let's look at those right now. Here's starting it off with the Isaiah Wooden reverse And as soon as he had the sideline, that was pretty much all she wrote, as he was able to get into the end zone for the touchdown run. Dixie State continued to bring the pressure defensively. There was an interception there. It ended up being called back on a roughing the passer penalty, but it was a good example of how Dixie State kept the pressure on all night long. Jake Lowry really had no time to get set, no time to do anything. There's a sack there for the Trailblazers. Easton Smith, again, a good night. There's the pass to Xavier Smith. He's able to reach up, snare that one, and sprint 51 yards down the sideline for the touchdown. Tip, another interception that was called back on another roughing the passer penalty. In fact, we lose Abraham Reinhart because of that one. Lawrence Starks, this was exciting. Showing his breakaway speed, yards after contact. I'm excited for what this kid has in the future. Smith finding the tight end, Cody Hobbs, got a little dinged up on this play. Hope he's okay. We'll find out later in the week. Dixie State winning it 31-13. And a toss to the end zone. A great catch on fourth down for Devin Osborne. That touchdown was also wiped off the board because of an offensive pass interference call on the other end of the field. Had that touchdown stood, Dixie State would have matched a single game record for margin of victory. 35 points against Simon Fraser in 2011. It would have tied that, but it was called back, and it was not to be. A fun night inside Trailblazer Stadium tonight. Defense really set the tone when the offense was, had a couple of drives where they had to punt early on, and the defense set the tone for this outstanding effort tonight. And Dixie State able to get the job done. Trying to take a look at this and see how many sacks Dixie State had as a team. Take a look at it. Trailblazers end up with, and I'm going to have to do math because you have half sacks here, 2.5, 3.5, 4.5, 5, 5.5, 6 sacks as a team tonight. And the Trailblazers defense was in that secondary, in that backfield all night long. Trailblazers win it 31-3. Individually, defensively, Alex Lilliard finishes with a team-high 7 tackles. Pritchard with 6. Reinhart with 6. Pritchard had another interception. He has been fantastic this season. Jones with 4. Watson with 4. Yarbrough with 4 tackles. Sewell with 4 tackles as well. Those with the sacks. Yarbrough ends up with 2.5 sacks. Moyai with a sack. Charlie Coca with a sack. Lilliard, Frazier, and Sewell end up with a half sack each tonight. Those are your defensive stats. Dixie State winning this one 31-3 on a fun night inside Trailblazer Stadium. Dixie State winning it 31-3, trying to figure out what the final attendance count was. Have not been told yet. Not sure if we've received word yet in the booth. I'm sure that it's going to go for a single game record. The previous record was 5,320 against Humboldt State back in 2006. Final count tonight, 5,498. There it is. And it felt like more than that. 5,498. Great crowd on hand. A record here at Trailblazer Stadium, eclipsing the previous mark set in 2006 by just over 100 fans tonight. So good on the fans tonight coming out. We hope you'll continue to come out and enjoy the games this season. That'll wrap it up for us here in the postgame. Dixie State wins at 31-3. Big shout out to everyone on the CEC TV crew. Again, I don't have all their names. I wish I did, but Dave and Dave, 2 different Daves working on the broadcast tonight. Marcus, James, Lauren, all of their hard work tonight really showed, and we are lucky to have them do what they do for us here at Dixie State University. Trailblazers win it 31-3. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you next week. New Mexico Highlands will be here next Saturday. Pre-game at 5:30. Kickoff at 6 p.m. Thanks for watching. Trailblazers win it 31-3. Have a good night.